5. A run, good run.
Hey, I don't think there's any shame in keeping it methodical, right? I think you keep the same plan that you had the opening drive.
Whatever he's been trying to do, and even like from okay, sounds good. All right. St. Charles knocking on the doorstep here. It'll be a second down. It's an incomplete pass, so it'll keep it 2nd and 10. Ball on the 17 for North. What's your defensive strategy that you're pulling out of your back pocket here? I mean, St. Charles kind of picked you apart this drive. I mean, you're moving all the way from the 15 down to the opponent's 15. What do you do here to kind of switch it up? Maybe get a turnover, force a sack, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of getting deja vu from the prior drive. You know, I think you go old school, bend, don't break, right? Kickers having issues all night. I think you try to force them to kick, right?
While watching enough Iowa football, I know that red zone defense can be one of the most crucial parts of really any football program. The North does execute it very well. So if they can hold it, keep it. It's a 2nd and 5 opportunity here. So hopefully.
Yeah, man, I totally agree, right? At lower levels of football, forcing them to do the little things can result in a lot of mistakes, right? So I totally agree here. I think if you're Francis South North, you bend, don't break. he missed a PAT from around this distance just about 10 minutes ago. So,
switching the play at the line. It'll be a run. Keeper for Jordan Rowe. Pushes all the way up 5-yard line. Diving, spinning. He can take contact. He can really take contact. St. Charles High, their offense. Okay. St. Charles High offense, I mean, they're rolling this drive. From the 15 down to the other 5, making it look just easy.
Yeah, Kane, I totally agree. He's been impossible to stop so far. It's hard when your quarterback can do a little bit of both, right? He's been the main weapon for St. Charles so far, and I don't think FHN's been able to key in on him.
No. Do you think you have to run like some defensive end contains, some quarterback spies? Like, what do you have to do?
I think a spy is for sure in order, right? I think you have that linebacker line up right over the nose, and he
drops back, almost gets him for the sack, stays on his feet, and rolls down to the 1 and is wrapped up around the 2-yard line. Jordan Rowe, he is an explosive football player. We've seen it time and time again. We're only a few minutes in this game, just 1 quarter down and a few minutes into the second. He looks great.
It's one of those situations where you kind of scratch your head and you're like, what am I supposed to do? With great players like Jordan Rowe, I think your biggest best strategy here is let's not let him kill us, right? I think back in the day with the 2000s Lakers, you'd be like, all right, how can Shaq not kill us?
Jordan Rowe dives into the end zone. Touchdown, St. Charles High. That'll put them at 13-12. North still leading. Heading into this, so Jordan Rowe. I mean, on that drive, there looks to be a flag on the field. Could be excessive celebration.
This feels like the St. Charles Jordan Rose. It's not the St. Charles Pirates.
No, it is. I mean, Jordan Rowe is just facilitating the offense perfectly. He's looking phenomenal. So
yeah, it's a rough one for FHN, right? You faced Hoyt Gregory, one of the best quarterbacks they're going to have on their whole schedule, and then I don't want to compare guys, but Jordan Rowe's right there with him. It's quite a rough way to start your schedule for the defense.
But it's a good test. I mean, if you start with 2 very talented quarterbacks, you have to learn how to defend them. If you're starting off with a weaker quarterback, even if it's a strong program, you get accustomed to, obviously I'm still going to pass rush him, but you take a different approach to, like a weaker quarterback he doesn't check his blind side. You get adjusted to kind of playing to that, but now you're using guys that can run, they can take off, they have that deep ball ability, they know how to facilitate an offense. You get used to that week 1, week 2. That shapes up to be pretty good the rest of the season for Frentown North. So,
Kane, I totally agree, right? If I was building a schedule, I'd like to schedule my tough teams at the beginning of the season, right? So then I can build momentum, and then we start playing your lower the division, lower the conference teams, and then you can ride that all the way into the playoffs.
And even if you don't win all your first games, like obviously last week, a crushing loss to North Point, 57-10. You're obviously, like you just said, you're learning. You're really getting. You're getting to know all these different offenses, so that looks to be no good. No good. So that's 2 missed PATs for St. Charles High. That is demoralizing.
Kane, this is about the weirdest football score I have seen in my time.
13-12 with no field goals. It's not something that you see.
12 points on the scoreboard looks wrong.
13
it looks
points.
Wrong.
I don't. Wait, do you think St. Charles? They pulled 2 offside kicks out of their back pocket already. Do you think that they pull out a third?
If I'm the head coach, no. And again, Kane, that's probably why I'm not a head coach. But I don't see the strategy in pulling out a trick play that's not really tricking anybody, right?
Yeah. Well, we'll see what they do. I mean, that's what we said last time, and look what they did.
So they
keep proving.
If I'm St. Charles, I'm booting that thing as far as I possibly can, right? This has been a game where the little things have kind of messed up both teams. So
test North's
force the other team to do the little things because it's not working on either end.
If you're giving them the ball at the 45-yard line, you cannot be expecting a defensive hold every possession of the game.
Exactly.
So a huddle before the kickoff for St. Charles High. How does that look? I mean, you don't see very many huddles. They get in position, they come back, huddle, and then head back out.
He looks to be lined up to kick it deep, but
His last time too, and
yeah, I'm not sure that this is Kane. This is a weird one.
To boot it deep, they will do another onside kick, and that'll be 3 onside kicks. North drops at the 46-yard line.
This is more onside kicks than I've seen in the last 6 months, Kane.
It's impressive.
Just in one game. Just in one game.
So, did we miss something over the offseason?
Yeah.
Was there like a rule change where the away team has to onside kick it, or like?
I'm not sure because Carson's been booting it deep every time. So
it is a weird strategy for sure. But I mean, if they're going to keep running it after 3 missed attempts, I guess they have to have something figured out at this point. I mean,
I don't want to be the broken record, but it's a trick play that's not really tricking anybody. I don't understand it.
Yeah, if you're accustomed to it, maybe second half they pull out something. Like if they keep it going, they pull it out second half, rolls out of the pocket, Champ Pauly.
Oh, that's
just
a brutal drop.
It would have been about a 20-yard completion.
I was just going to compliment Champ. Beautiful composure, rolls out right, and finds an open receiver. Those are plays that just kills a drive.
Yeah. He had both hands on it. It was definitely a catchable ball. Had both feet in bounds, a little bit of a toe tap action. But you know what? Didn't happen. But 2nd and 10, you're on the 46. Short field ahead of you. You get one deep play in here. I think it's... I mean, not on this drive. Okay, we're running the old offense, so definitely not taking a deep shot. It'll be a run. A lot of misdirections. North up the middle. Tackled around the 45.
And I love the strategy there. You put the ball back in the hands of the guy that just made the mistake. I think that's the perfect way to coach, right? You can't prove that was just a mistake unless you get the ball again. I love that.
I mean, yeah, it's like in basketball. Shoot a three-pointer, you miss, and you don't get the ball past you the rest of the game. You're going to come back the next game, and you're not going to be better. You're still going to have that thought in your head. And another just outstanding rush, and that'll actually push for a first down here for Manfull North. Ball all the way up around the 36-yard line.
Yeah, Kane, building on what you were just talking about, there's this quote that I always love in basketball, right? There's this NBA player for the Heat. He talked about, I would always rather go 0 for 40 than 0 for 7 because that meant I quit shooting.
That's a good one to live by. So old offense again, rush up the middle, brought down, gain of 3. Still, North is moving the ball.
It's more positives than negatives.
And there's 2, both officials throw flags. St. Charles High was getting a little handsy there, way late after the play. Threw him down, and we'll see what these are. It should be unsportsmanlike conduct or unnecessary ref's call on St. Charles, but may have missed something in that swarm. So,
yeah, really off topic, but wouldn't you always think it'd be fun to throw one of those flags? I want to get my hand. Yeah, there's some beanbags in there.
Oh, okay. I can see that.
I need to get my hands on a flag.
I could be an official sometime. The unsportsmanlike moves the sticks. I mean that. St. Charles High, the penalties are killing them. That's their 5th penalty of the night. They've had a lot on defense. They've had a lot on offense, and it's just been a struggle for St. Charles to keep their composure. And that was just a dumb play. I mean, the play's blown dead. It's a 3-yard pickup, and then you give them 15 more. It's unnecessary. Old offense, rush up the right side, touchdown, Howell North.
Kane, the ball doesn't lie there. FHN's rewarded the touchdown. They played the game the right way. St. Charles didn't, and they get rewarded a touchdown.
Hey, think about that. Without that penalty, without losing their cool, the ball would be on the 22-yard line. I mean,
you'd be looking at 3rd down, wouldn't you?
You'd be looking at 3rd down on the 35 instead. You get a new set of downs on the 22, and they did it. I mean, all the momentum was with Manfull North right there. They took it to the house.
Now, none of these have been give me, but if Carson can put this through, I jinxed him.
And
I apologize, Carson, but they do take that into a 7-point lead, full touchdown. Well, not with how these kickers have been playing, but
3 missed PATs to this point.
This has been a weird one. This has been a weird one.
The kicking has just been a struggle. It's not even been a struggle. It's the onside kicks have been
I've more pointed towards the coaching, right? It's been curious decisions. I mean, before they ran out the kick team there, I was going to say I think I'd rather go for 2 here. Push it to an 8-point lead as compared to 7. I don't know.
I mean, you might as well try it, right?
Yeah, right. You get to 20. No, you would have gotten excuse me, I can't do math. My math brain has been turned off. You would have pushed it to 9. 9 points. That's a multi-score game. Which with this one, with how back and forth it's been, that's not a knockout punch, but it's definitely a knockdown punch.
Yeah, and you got 9 minutes left in the half. Both offenses are clicking, the defenses are struggling. But from a coaching standpoint, how do you think both head coaches are feeling right now?
Looking on the home crowd here, Coach Bevel, definitely a lot less mistakes. So as a coach, you feel better about your preparation for this week. But you're not happy with how the defense has played so far. Jordan Rowe has demoralized you, to put it bluntly.
He has picked you apart and just...
And then if we look over to that other sideline, I think overall you're playing great, but it feels like a lack of discipline. I think you're beating yourself. North is picking up all of those, 50-50, what could happen. Oh, shoving match. Oh, you guys get the flag. I'm going to score a touchdown here.
Yeah,
and it's just not going the other way for St. Charles.
North is capitalizing on the silly mistakes of St. Charles.
Yes, exactly.
And not just like actual ball game. St. Charles, they've beat themselves, really. I mean, it's one of the great quotes from Russell Westbrook, and it was, did you lose this game or did they beat you? And right now it's truly, for Inside North, they're not beating them. I mean, you're looking at play-to-play. Both offenses are looking great. Both defenses are looking about the same. But you take a look.
Yeah, Kane.
St. Charles, they're just beating themselves. And a big play for St. Charles High. They'll just keep going. A short drag route.
Yeah, Kane, this doesn't really feel like a football game of two teams playing each other. It's kind of just who's going to blink first or who's going to blink least.
Yeah. Say that was a roll out there for Jordan Rowe, and just found a short receiver, broke a couple tackles, and before we know it, I mean that's one player up on the 43-yard line. Got a lot of time to play with. You're going to give the ball back to North at least one more time this possession, but you're thinking you can take a couple minutes off the clock.
Nah, I think you can run off 9 minutes.
And there's a little flip outside. Kai Moses cuts at the sideline for about 4 yards. Their options that they've been running, they've tricked North as a defense. They're not covering their outside edges like they should be.
Yeah, we're kind of a broken record, but it's a shame the way these penalties have been killing their drive because, honestly, their offense has looked so versatile and so hard to stop. Jordan Rowe's at the pinnacle of everything, and with the options that they've been giving him, short, deep, medium, wherever he wants, it looks like an offense that can't be beaten, but they're beating themselves.
Yeah, if you take out the penalties we have right now, that scoreboard would be flipped, if not more imbalanced on the other side. If you take off the offside kick, onside kicks, I think that'd also be a bit of a different story. But
tip of the hat to Coach Bevel, right? He's keeping his boys disciplined, and that's what's keeping them in this football game right now.
No penalties. One penalty on North up until this point. So
what was a false start? Loud stadium. It's gonna happen, right?
It's a given. Penalties happen. It's not like something that you can really totally eliminate from a ball game, but limiting them as much as you possibly can, that's what North's been doing, and it's proved positive. So a second down and 5 yards to go. Ball on the 49. St. Charles. I feel like they're just kind of scratching at a big play here. They're getting closer and closer to breaking one deep. I mean, they just had a big 30-yard run. Do you think they do it again?
As we stop for an injury, it appears to be Jackson Pfeiffer who is talking with the trainers and head coach. He looks to be heading off the field. We hope he's okay. He looks to be walking off by himself, which is always a good sign.
Not sure what the injury was. I seem to miss it.
He
looks to be a little bit of a limp.
Big time football game. Had school today. Probably just hopefully dehydrated, right?
Would be the hope. So, again, 2nd and 5. Ball on the 49. St. Charles looking to move the sticks.
Yeah, you were kind of hitting on it that it feels like a big play's coming. I hope they pass it, but based on my football knowledge, is a penalty kills the ball or kills the play again.
Ref stoppage, and that will be offsides on the defense. So Francis Howell North.
Okay, I was a little too quick to jump the gun here.
Just talked so highly of their discipline on ball, but, well, it's 1st and 10. We'll move the sticks for him.
Not to make an excuse for him, but Jackson Pfeiffer, a bit of a captain for this defense, right? He's, 4-year player now. He definitely directs this defense a bit, so having him shooken up off the field, it's definitely going to affect how you play here.
And it's not even just having him on there. It's the mindset. It's like the presence of him. Not really him talking and, giving different signals and stuff, but it's the idea that you have a guy like him on the field. Jordan Rowe out to the right side, fighting off defenders, breaks it for about 9 or 10 yards.
Jordan Rowe just threw somebody to the ground.
They just can't figure it out. So that's definitely something that they're going to have to look into here. For North's defense, but Jordan Rowe, if you're St. Charles, feed him. Feed him the ball.
Feed him the ball.
Let him run, because it doesn't seem like he's a fragile quarter.
There's certain guys that fit into schemes, and there's certain guys that are schemes. Jordan Rowe is a scheme.
He is a scheme. He certainly does not have the ball carrying of a Madden quarterback where they fumble just about every time you run the ball with him. Jordan Rowe, he can shove off defenders. He's a big guy, hangs with the best of them.
Kane, speaking of Madden, Jordan Rowe would be my Madden quarterback. He's got wheels, he's got an arm.
That's a very well-rounded quarterback. Fantasy points for him today would be insane.
Kane, speaking of fantasy, halftime, I'm going to have to check my team. We got Eagles, Packers down in Brazil tonight. Who you got in that game?
I'm going to have to go Eagles. I mean, they're just coming off a big season.
Yeah, that's a safe
defense
pick.
looks strong. So I think it's tough to bet against the Eagles.
I secretly agree with you. I'll play devil's advocate. I'll pick the Packers here. Jordan Love coming off a big season. Big extension, too. I think that's a great game. Yeah.
See how that game plays out, but for right now, we have a compelling matchup. Again,
we have a great football game right in front of us.
And again, Francis Howell North 19, St. Charles High 12. 1st and 10, ball on the 36. 7.5 minutes to go here in the half. Jordan Rowe, gonna electric. The defense, North's defense, again, they're bending, not breaking at this point. They've slowed the drive, forced a lot of plays.
Yeah, Kane, looking at the clock, that first quarter ran by really fast in this second quarter, kind of the opposite.
Slip to the wide receiver, stays on his feet, battles for 6 yards after
broke 2 tackles there.
Run after contact on that was 6, 7, 8 yards. I mean, that's what St. Charles High is just. They've done so well today. They hit the contact, stay on their feet, and push for the extra 3. I mean, they're just not going down. And I think that is one of the great edges they have on it. However, another flag on the field again for St. Charles High in the backfield.
It's not the travel monster; it's the flag monster.
It is the flag monster moving the ball back after another explosive gain.
You go from plus 22 to -5 here.
Yeah,
that's not
again,
preferred.
What we've been talking about, the penalties have been killing St. Charles. It's tough to play when you're beating yourself.
Exactly. I just mentioned it. You were now on the doorsteps of the end zone, smack dab in the middle of the red zone. Now you're still outside of field goal range.
Yeah, pushed all the way back. So it's St. Charles High. I feel like they still have momentum. I mean, regardless of these flags, I think they have momentum. Every offensive play that they've ran on this drive has looked good. So
yeah, I mean, not to just say his name all night, but with Jordan Rowe at quarterback, it's hard to say that they don't have momentum, right? At any given moment, that guy can break it off for 30 yards, or he can sling it down 30 yards.
Absolutely. Yeah, any play call that they make, they have full confidence in Jordan Rowe. As do I.
I was going to say, I have just as much confidence.
Ball is live. 1st down, 5 to go. Ball on the 31. Ball down, picked off. Francis Howell North. He'll take it left side, cuts back, finds an opening, and that's number 3, That is Mikey Miller, the freshman that we talked about. First play of the game. Mikey Miller with an interception on the 15-yard line. What a welcome to high school varsity football.
I was going to say, what do you say, Kane? That's a pretty good first impression for the home crowd.
Absolutely. Mikey Miller, definitely a crowd favorite. You see his teammates getting hype on the sideline with him. That's a momentum switch. That is a big momentum switch. So now Francetown North takes the ball, running the old offense down around their 15-yard line. How do you think that plays into it? I mean, now defense first turnover of the game for Francetown North. They get the pick. Nice run back from Mikey Miller.
I mean, yeah, Kane, we were just talking about St. Charles having a ton of momentum, and, I mean, don't have the ball.
No.
Might have killed all of it there.
Don't have the ball, and I don't think the energy's there for him. I mean, that defense obviously can hold the line, but again, gain of 10 yards, 2nd and 1 here from Francetown North. Both offenses, they're looking just about the best that they could. I mean, despite the pick for St. Charles, both offenses they're looking phenomenal. The defenses are just giving up some plays, but even the defenses are holding. I mean, every side of the ball here looks good. It's a closely contested match. These two, I think, are good opponents for week 2. You really get to test somebody on your level.
Yeah.
You can kind of see how a similar but different offense, I guess. I don't know how to word that, but
it feels like a boxing match, Kane. It feels like you're just trading blows all game. Maybe North is leading by a point, a touchdown here even. Yeah, I love how you said it. They're similar level opponents, and it's a great test second week.
So North, again, past 2 plays here, it's just both breaking up for 5 yards. So.
Gain of 7 yards on the play, brings up 2nd and 3.
2nd and 3 coming, ball on the 38-yard line. They're running that old offense a lot on this drive. Past 2 plays, and now once again.
Yeah, but like you just said, you're breaking off 4 or 5 yards each time you do it. Why go away from it?
It's a great thing to have in the back pocket. If you have the ability to run 2 different styles of offense efficiently, that's tough. That's tough to plan for as a defensive coordinator, and it's tough to cover on defense. I mean, also it's a great look for Francetown North coming out here in the second.
I totally agree. Now, Kane, I fully expect to be wrong here, but if I'm North, why not test it downfield a little bit?
I mean, you got time. You got second and 3.
Well, because if I'm trying to put myself in the St. Charles sideline, right, you just saw 3 straight in the slot T. You're probably going to expect another run. So what are you going to do as the offense? You got to do the exact opposite.
Could you go crazy call here, slot T, motion, and then go deep?
Okay.
You get the defense a little bit rattled.
I'm always down for some creative offense.
Just see what happens there. I mean, they look to be drawing something up over on the sideline, but it's definitely an option. So, yeah, timeout here by North. Ball pushed back.
Each team, I believe, has used 1 timeout. 6 minutes remaining, 2 timeouts per. This should
25.
Will be 2nd and 16.
Big penalty for North.
That's quite a killer.
It's unfortunate. They had just a great drive going, and they're pushed all the way back. But 2nd and 16, ball in the 25. They have to go deep here. 2nd and 16, or I don't think you have to go deep. I think you got to throw it.
I think you got to get a chunk here, right? You got to get at least 9 yards.
Make it a 3rd and manageable. And that'll be a false start on St. Charles.
And that's
their 9th penalty of the game.
It's an automatic first, if I'm not mistaken.
The first half. And we're already looking into almost double-digit penalties on St. Charles.
It makes it 2nd and manageable.
2nd and 11. So, you're just looking at an incomplete pass first down.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think you change your plan, though. It looks to be 2 receivers on the left. I think you still throw it here. Beager down on that island over there.
They won't throw it a run, but a good run at that. Breaks off about 7-8 yards. Makes it a 3rd and easy.
3rd and easy.
There's never an easy 3rd down, but if you're going to call it 3rd and easy.
Toughest play in football.
A third brings up about a 3rd and 2. 3rd and 3.
Gain on the play. A 3rd and 2 from the Knights. 40.
So we're running trips down on the right side, bottom of your screen.
You think they're all decoys, Kane, or you think there's a throw here?
I don't think there's a throw here. You're rocking 3rd and 2. It's Howell North offense. We're running the ball.
I don't know, man. I think I have one of those receivers run a quick out, and you try to hit him on that sideline.
We haven't had very productive out routes. I mean, even against North Point, we had some roll out of the pocket, throw down the sideline. The hands were not there for the receivers, and the quarterback's throws were just, they weren't on point as they should have been.
See, I wish they would utilize that. Honestly, as a younger quarterback in champ and, you know, younger receivers throwing outside the numbers, it's difficult, but it's harder for the defense to cover. Huddle's right in the, or the scrum is right in the middle of the field. It's hard for those DBs to get outside.
Yep.
I think you got to utilize that more.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing St. Charles High, you're playing run all the way here.
Yeah.
I mean, you're looking at it.
That's what I mean. You get one of those receivers out wide and find him.
See, do you think there hasn't been a lot of quarterback pressure coming from St. Charles High? So a halfback slip screen's kind of out the question here. There's no real purpose for it.
It was on that first drive that we saw Champ really have to improvise, but that was because he kind of held the ball for like 5-6 seconds. So
offense, 3rd and 2, and he will get wrapped up. Did he pick it up? All he needed was 2. They will move the sticks. That'll be a 1st down for Howell North. Keep the chains moving. Ball up around the 41-yard line.
You now approach no man's land. With 4 minutes left on the clock, you do open up your playbook a little bit, and you open up kind of how creative you really want to be. I think you're approaching 4-down territory also if you can't get something.
Deep pass, Champ. Deep downfield, looks like could have been a little early contact, but good coverage from St. Charles High. No flag thrown.
Ref in the area. He will keep his flag in his pocket.
It could have gone both ways. Recently, refs have been instructed, though, contact from both sides, keep the flags tucked. So
that's how I feel, though. I think football is a physical game. Allow them to be physical, right?
Yeah. So it wasn't anything insane. There was no. I mean, it wasn't. There's been a lot worse calls that should have been, or that have been called PI.
I totally
that one,
agree.
You could have swung either way. I think it's better though. So like with all the penalties that have already been called and forced, I think it's better to let the game play.
I'd rather the kids play.
Yeah. All right. Down on the snap, a little motion around, keeps it outside, wrapped up for just.
Gosh, Kane, the way he held that in his right hand, I thought he was going to look to throw.
And another flag on the field. Wow. That'll bring up. It was 2nd and 20, so it was like. Brings up 3rd down, 3rd and embarrassing, honestly. I mean.
3rd and a little bit too long.
You had ball up on the 40, got pushed back to the 20, got all the way back up to the 40, and now you're getting pushed back to the 30. The flags they're just flying today.
Yeah, Kane, I mean, I consider myself a little bit more of an offensive mind here, but if I'm trying to scheme up my defense on St. Charles, I think I have a safety sit right around the sticks and make sure nothing gets past him, and you send the rest of the house.
So ball way moved up here. So ball up. We seem to miss what happened, but the ball is moved all the way up to the opposite 37-yard line. So Howell North, disregard everything we just said. The ball gets a 40-yard advancement for Howell North.
Penalty flags change just about everything, and it changes the complete narrative.
There was a PI that could have been called, and then there was another flag that we seem to miss.
And now they're on the opposite side of the field.
Another flag on the next play, and they are now they're almost in a position where
especially with how strong.
You force. Now you can force St. Charles into a 2-minute offense. I mean, Howell North's 2-minute defense.
Kane, I don't know. I think with how well you're running the ball, I'm going to try to hold this ball the whole rest of the half.
The rest of the half. I'm saying.
I think I can run 4 minutes off the clock with Colin Conley, Sam Mahurin, Champ Hawley in that backfield. I think you run the ball.
You get 7 good rushes out of it. You're knocking that time all the way down. So
give him the rock, man.
It's definitely possible.
Like here, honestly, I kind of like a QB power here.
Okay.
Just push the line.
Try something different. I like it.
I mean, catch them off guard, right?
Yeah.
I feel like we're kind of both teams are lulling each other asleep here. It's kind of the same thing. 20-yard play. Oh, penalty. Nothing. Oh, 5-yard run. You know, we got to try something different here.
Yeah. So, again, North leading by 7 here with 4 minutes left in the half. Down. Run outside. Cuts it back in. A big break. Just stumbled. Lost his footing, but...
He looked like he was stumbling for 9 yards there.
Stumbled. Yeah, I'd say 12, 15. He was just rolling there. So, great pickup. Great pickup for Francis Howell North. Just, again, looking explosive. They can take this clock all the way down to about 3:30. Put it in a really good spot to kind of close out this half with the ball, with the lead, with the momentum. I mean,
as much as I want to see him throw the ball, you can't throw the ball here.
There's no reason to throw the ball.
You're getting 5 yards every time you run it, so why would you?
Snap up the middle, and gain of 4 or 5.
Keep that clock running.
Yeah, keep the clock running. And then, again, now you're bringing it under the 3-minute mark. North doing what they do best, ball control. So that's what they'll keep it to, and just keep moving the sticks. I mean, St. Charles, they just cannot slow down this offense. So we'll see. Maybe something changes second half coming out, but until then, you got 3 minutes of play. I mean, you can't look to adjustments at halftime quite yet. You still got to stop them before then. They just can't. It's another 4-yard rush for Francis Howell North,
and that'll take it under 3 minutes. You are now inside of Carson's range, in my opinion.
What is kicker range at this point anyway? I mean, you're looking at the kicking stats.
Hey, Kane, I'm going to try to be a goldfish. I'm going to try to forget what we've seen from the kickers earlier.
I'm a man of my statistics, and my statistics right now say that field goals and PATs are not looking up for either sideline.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I definitely see what you're saying.
I'd say you can't.
I don't know. I'm going to look at it where you have a chance to score no matter what happens on this drive.
And another incredible run. The guys up front, like you said, pre-game, you were talking about the winning in the trenches, and they've done it. Francis Howell North's offensive line has been cruising through this defense.
Yeah, I mean, Kane, it kind of goes without saying, but with the trenches, it's all about size. And number 75, Daniel Martin's about as big as they get. He's
high school football, you don't get guys that hit size very often.
You don't get 6'7", 340 too often, and Big Dan, as they call him, is just plowing through people.
He's a guy who can move too. I mean,
I have seen him move tonight like a few other
good
players.
Cut inside, brought down around the 1-yard line.
You're right on the doorstep.
So
I don't know. I'm not the offensive coordinator, but I'm letting Champ keep it. I think he's earned a touchdown here.
I can see it, but I think one thing you got to take into account, so there'll be a timeout here.
Yeah, you got to stop it here. But you also are with 146. By the time you give them the ball back, it'll probably be 130. St. Charles isn't scoring.
One thing you got to take into consideration for Francis Howell North is the fact that 2 minutes is a lot of time. You're looking at an offense led out by Jordan Rowe, an explosive quarterback.
I don't know.
He's got an arm. I think you got to have clock management.
With how well Carson's been putting the ball inside that 20, I don't know, Kane. I think 130 that they're probably going to be looking at whenever they get the ball back. That's an aggressive push to go score.
Our secondary coverage for Francis Howell North, it hasn't been phenomenal, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So with Jordan Rowe having that cannon back there, having great wide receivers.
That's a fair point, that's a fair point.
You have good receivers and good tight ends and good backs. You got a lot of throwing options. You're still going to be here with a timeout if you need to use it, but I don't know. And a run.
It's going to be a challenge no matter what.
Touchdown, Francis Howell North. That'll put him up. The fourth touchdown of the game.
Yeah, with those missed PATs, it adds an extra awkward score.
Yeah, it took me a second to remember.
Typically, when I hear a fourth touchdown, I think 28, not 25.
Yeah. Well, do you think they go for 2, or do we just kick it through the uprights? It appears to be.
Correct me if I'm wrong. But
you're on the field.
you don't run any more time, but you do make it 27. That makes it a 15
You have
point
the
game.
momentum.
15 is
See if they
compared to
can punch
14.
it in. The 2-point conversion. Champ keeps himself. Runs heavy contact. Gets pushed back. He was close, but that defense, D-line got to him first. Cornerbacks came in to wrap up second. So I like the idea though. I
really love the idea. I've been talking about on this whole drive.
And a face mask call.
Looks like they're going to
against
get another
St.
chance.
Charles. So they'll come back.
So
see what happens round 2.
Kane, if you're Coach Bevel, are you doing the same thing?
I don't think you can go back to him. I think you can do.
I think you can go a different design run. I just don't think it would be the same play.
I think you can go maybe a halfback misdirection. You start with.
Kane's been awesome with the hard reads or hard handoffs to read.
I think maybe a little looking left, switch them over, and then cut it back right could be something to look into. The old offense. We've seen this a lot tonight. Heavy power up the right side. 2-point conversion is good. 27-12.
That brings it to 15 if I'm doing my math right. That does appear to be... It's technically a 2-score game with two 2-point conversions to take the lead. Awkward score line for sure.
Yeah.
That makes it difficult for St. Charles to tie it up for sure.
I was keeping track of the St. Charles penalties, and I would be at 13, but after that last drive, there were so many penalties and
that
so much
field
confusion.
flipper, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
we'll call it 13.
We're around 13 though, and it's just the first half. I mean, if you're looking at college NFL stat lines, like a bad game penalty wise, 8, 9, 10.
You're not approaching double digits.
13 first half. And they crossed that double-digit threshold.
Yeah, and more than half of them have just been, little dinky plays where it's like, come on, man, you can't hold him.
Yeah, false start, holding, offside.
Get his countdown. You can't false start. It's just little stuff, You got to add your preparation, and hopefully that's something they work on in the second half.
Yeah, Carson Howard, deep kickoff, back of the end zone.
I think he shook off those jitters that he had at the beginning of the game.
Very strong kick there.
Definitely looks like something I recognize.
I will say we are blowing 15 plus mile an hour winds with his back that time, but it gives him confidence. Even if he's going to kick into the wind at this point, got it with the back. He's got his confidence back. Is what I guess I'll say.
Yeah, for sure.
A minute 43 on the clock. Howell North leads 27-12 over the St. Charles High Pirates. 1st and 10, ball on the 20-yard line. What do you see St. Charles doing here? Do you think they go deep, or do you think they kind of protect what they have? I think the first 3-4 plays, assuming you get a first down, you have to try and that'll be a dropped snap.
But they'll dive on it on time. Yeah, okay.
Fall on it.
Honestly, it's me being a little unrealistic, but I think you tell Jordan Rowe, go make a play. You send your receivers deep, and you tell him, do whatever you think.
Okay, that's what you're thinking. But now, a missed snap?
Yeah, now what, you're pushed back about 5 yards?
That's a confidence deal. Jordan Rowe drops, passes out wide. It looks like about a completion of 5 yards. So it brings them back to where they would be on first down. However, now it is 3rd down. It's going to be a 3rd and 10. Clock ticking just under a minute now. Jordan Rowe drops. He looks over the middle, and it is completed to move the sticks. That run after contact has been incredible for St. Charles tonight. They are a physical football program. Again, Coach Bevel talking pre-game. He was talking about physical football is going to be the key. St. Charles has brought that.
Yeah, I mean, hard work is the key to everything, right? If you make sure your boys are working hard, it's
Jordan takes off. And he will keep going. And a fumble. It gets poked out. Howell North falls on the ball. Jordan Rowe with about a 50-yard break off. He gets down, and the ball gets poked out. And Howell North will recover. That is St. Charles' 2nd turnover of the game. A pick and a fumble.
Kane, I can't help but notice one of the assistant coaches just pummeled number 8 who just made the play. That was a funny sideline celebration.
The team chemistry tonight is clicking. The student section on the whole stadium tonight is backing Francisco North right now. So you got 35 seconds. You run the ball out. You protect the lead. You head into half. Great.
Nope. I'm slinging it deep.
You're just going for it.
Yeah, Kane. Okay. I don't think you have nothing to lose, but you don't have a whole lot to lose. I think when you have a guy like David Beeger out wide, you have Champ throwing the ball, I think you've got to let him make a play.
Okay, yeah, I mean, you got momentum, 35 seconds. I think maybe you try one, doesn't work out.
Try one, yeah. No, I don't think you throw it all 4 plays by any means.
No.
I think you throw it once. If it doesn't work, maybe you just kneel it out and take it into the locker room.
Another penalty against St. Charles. It's almost funny at this point. We're up to 13, 14, 15 penalties. Yeah. I mean, what's their halftime speech have to be to turn that around? A deep ball, and it's picked off by St. Charles High. Not an I told you so moment, but protect that momentum.
I'm sorry, champ.
Protect that momentum into halftime. Would have been
but that's a second straight week, Kane, where he's thrown an interception where you look at his stat line, he doesn't have a passing touchdown yet. So he's, 0-2 with his touchdown-interception ratio. But if you're watching him, he's playing a lot better.
He is playing like a
no passing touchdown quarterback. I think the term game manager gets a bad connotation in football, but he's managing these games nearly flawlessly, in my opinion.
I would say... But again, this isn't Francisco North football. That is very uncharacteristic.
Yeah.
To throw the ball 35 seconds, tons of momentum, and just to throw it was a bad ball. I mean, they were outnumbered down on the 20-yard line. There was no good look
curious
that he had
to see
there.
Why did all of the receivers end up on one
Almost
side
another fumbled snap. Almost gets Jordan around the backfield. Deep throw. And it's an incompletion.
Broken up.
No flags thrown. Looked like a little early contact, but
yeah, Jackson Pfeiffer breaks up that ball back onto the field. Great to see him back.
Must not have been a major injury. It looks like he's back, going well. So 17 seconds. You got a 2nd and 10. You had an almost missed snap, an almost sack, and it was a pickable ball. It was, it could have gone either way. It was catchable, and it could have turned into an interception. But you're running a 5 wide, no backs in the backfield. Jordan rolls out right, deep throw, wide open receiver. He'll take off. Will he get down? He'll get down to the 45-yard line, and they have one timeout. So they'll call the timeout. 5 seconds out of field goal range. Kane, what
do you think? Kneel the ball? No, I'm kidding.
I'd say like an off tackle left. No, I'd say you have one big shot at the end zone. There's not enough time for a quick out route or something to get another 10 yards.
I run trips on one side, one receiver to the left. I
say stack
bring
up.
All that attention to the right side. You send that guy deep, and you look left.
Yeah, I mean, we're just running Madden Hail Mary plays
for
at this
FHN's
point.
sake. Hopefully, I'm not right.
So we'll see how it plays out. 5.7 on the clock. Francisco North leads by 15 heading into halftime, but that is subject to change. One play for St. Charles. If this is completed, if they get points out of this drive, look at momentum. Look at 35 seconds to now the halftime. That could be a big momentum shift, but can't be looking too far ahead. They still have to complete it first.
Yeah, Kane.
We'll see how it plays out.
You're only a freshman, so you haven't seen too many of these, but this is kind of a crazy expectation for you to start. I've never seen a football game as wild as this one to start.
It has surely been a shocker. So here we go, down. Jordan Rowe, a short pass. They're going to go wide receiver screen. Lat City is the plan. Back to Jordan Rowe. He cuts up the middle, stays on his feet, keeps going, and
wow!
Be about a 25-yard.
Wow.
25-yard rush for Jordan Rowe. That'll send him into the half. A crafty play there with a crafty quarterback.
Kane, I don't know if crafty gives him full justice there. That was an incredible play. The quarterback ends up with the ball again at the end of that At the end of those laterals, that was a crazy play.
A wide receiver bubble screen turns into a lateral back to Jordan Rowe, probably the best rusher that St. Charles has to offer. We haven't seen much out of Kai Moses this half. Gives it back to Jordan Rowe, breaks a couple tackles. Looked like he had a lane, maybe going back right, but no blockers up on the right side. Nobody really followed him. He was in no man's land. It was a 1v7.
Yeah, despite how awesome he's been, 1v7 is still 1v7.
Yeah, so... Anyway, a great half for Francis Howell North. Great half for St. Charles. Everything has just looked great. I mean, it's been a phenomenal football game. A couple turnovers, a few very interesting play calls from offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, special teams. I mean, yeah, it has been a very interesting half.
Yeah, I'm looking at this box score, right, and we see 2 interceptions, or 1 interception for each quarterback. But I'm looking back watching the game. I'm not sure. I'm looking at it and like, oh, that was a really bad throw. No, I don't think so.
It wasn't necessarily. I mean, both quarterbacks have been just phenomenal. Jordan Rowe. Right now, if he continues that stat line this season, I mean, it would turn out to be potentially record breaking. He is running the ball at a caliber most high school running backs can't, and he's a quarterback with the arm. He has the arm of a quarterback, the legs of a running back, the physicality of a linebacker.
Kane, he's playing a little bit of linebacker on the side too.
He is a very well-rounded individual. It'll be awesome to see how this second half shapes up. How do you counter him if you're Francis Howell North?
Yeah, the majority of his damage has come on the ground, right? We talked about a QB spy. It seems like they've implemented it. I don't think it really stuck. I think, you just try to neutralize the damage. I don't think he's hurt you with the arm as much as you probably expected. He threw the ball pretty well last week. I think to a certain extent this has been a success. I think you are dealing with one of those great players where it's like, wow. You just have to stop and say, wow.
I mean, realistically, he has been the only guy on St. Charles that has hurt you. Their receivers haven't been burning us. I mean, the Francis Howell North secondary team has not done a phenomenal job of covering like the slot receivers, slips up through the middle. They've had St. Charles has executed on a lot of slips, just like slot receivers run up dead center. They can just find them. We're too focused on the outside trying to cover the edges that the run game has opened. That we just forget about the inside of the field on. Like when we start throwing the ball. So
he hasn't done a whole lot of damage outside the numbers yet. So hopefully I'm not jinxing him by saying that, but maybe focus on the inside of the field a little bit more. Maybe drop your safety right there.
So I don't know. It should shape out to be a great second half. Again, Francis Howell North up 27-12 over St. Charles Pirates at halftime.
Yeah, we will rejoin you at the beginning of the third quarter.
And we welcome you back. Second half action here at Francis Howell North as the Knights lead 27-12 over the St. Charles High Pirates. That first half truly was something, an offensive masterclass from both sides. Penalties really hurt St. Charles High, and for North, they just got to figure out a way to maybe move the sticks a little bit quicker. I mean, you gave St. Charles High a lot of offensive opportunities, and there was a lot of chances for them to break big during the game. So, how do you think St. Charles High has to approach this offensive possession with their first one of the half?
Yeah, Kane. I think at times you looked a bit stagnant. You know what I mean? Jordan Rowe, throughout the whole game, has been his explosive self. He is not the problem.
No,
I
not
would
at all.
say that the backs and the receivers need to support him a little bit better. And you need to be the explosive offense that you looked like at the beginning of the game.
Almost
right now.
tackled up around the 20, but he spins out of it, fights his way up to the 31-yard line.
And that's a great start.
That's what St. Charles High needed to open the half. Gives them some energy. Really gives them a boost coming into this. Jordan Rowe, a phenomenal quarterback. He's ran for over 100 yards now. A lot of penalties. He's thrown the ball great. He did have an interception and now a fumble after that last drive of the game. But you're looking at it.
Yeah, Kane.
Jordan Rowe, he has all confidence right now, and his teammates have full confidence in him as well. So I don't think you really have to change up your offensive scheme as much as the scoreboard shows. And there's false starts and false starts and false starts on the field right now.
Yeah, if I'm on the flip side of things, if I'm looking from this FHN defense perspective, I think it's just force them to make the mistakes that they've been making. I think just looking from a broad sense coming out of halftime, I think you are trying to continue exactly what you were doing in that first half if you're FHN, and it's quite the opposite on the other end.
Yeah, that makes 15 or 16 penalties for St. Charles High, and we are not done with the second quarter. And a big sack for Francis Howell North gets into the backfield, the D lineman.
It's a party in the backfield, and they get to Jordan Rowe.
Well, that's first sack of the game from either side of the field, and that's a big defense. I mean, that's a defensive boost for North. You didn't have a lot of plays like that. You obviously had the pick down on the 20-yard line by the freshman Mikey Miller. You had a forced fumble late in the second quarter, and now you have a sack. Everything's coming together if you're the defense right now.
Yeah, both quarterbacks have been relatively protected all game. That's kind of the first crack in the armor that we've seen. Hopefully FHN can exploit that.
A run down to the right side, spins out of it, quarterback keeper, and he's pushed out after a gain of 4 yards. So sets up now a third and very long. Very long. 3rd and 19 it appears to be. It's going to... What do you do here as an offensive coordinator? You're 3rd and 19, you're down 15 points, start of the half.
My smart aleck answer is to tell you to just throw the ball. But I think you look for something short, right? Your run after catch has been awesome all game. Maybe you tell one of your receivers, hey, run a quick little hitch, and we're going to get you the ball in open space, and you're just going to try to make a play.
I mean, we saw that last play that they had. It was a wide receiver bubble screen into a quarterback lateral and run it. That'll be over the middle and no good. Broken up. Great coverage there by the secondary. And that will force them, force on the punt team, and here they come.
As for FHN, that went exactly to plan.
So this is the first punt of the game we've seen from either side. And it's coming in the third quarter. I mean, that also adds to the story of the game. You're seeing not a lot of turnovers, but you've seen 3 up until this point, and you're looking at offensive efficiency, lot of clock management from both sides. It's not quick 3 and outs. Both sides have moved the ball. Both sides have forced turnovers. It's a very evenly contested football game despite a 15-point gap. And he tucks it, takes a delayed punt, and the ball will sit right around the 25-yard line.
Gosh, Kane, but he used his time well. That was a great punt, field flipper. That now sets up FHN to have to go 60-plus yards to go score.
Absolutely. So the punt team, it hit off the punt team after a bounce on the 30-yard line, and Beaver grabbed it and ran back for 5, but the officials ruled it dead. And the coaches are throwing a fit down on the Francis Howell North sideline about it.
Yeah, I would love to hear what was going on down there.
I mean, yeah.
Coach Bevel, I never see him that worked up. Clearly, there's something.
Punt team touches ball, it's blown dead. That's rule. So, anyway, possession will start on the 25-yard line for the France Hall North Knights. Quarterback Tim Pauly, he looked good in the first half. He didn't look great. He looked good. Building off that new offense they brought in over the offseason. They were running a lot of the old set, but it's been a good mix.
Yeah, obviously his completion percentage isn't as high as it was the last game. The last game, 9 for 14, completed just about every opportunity he was given. Coming into this game, coming into halftime, if I'm not mistaken, he's about 2 for 4 passing with a pick. But with a lot of things in this game, I feel like the stat sheet doesn't really tell the full story. I think as a passer, Champ has looked pretty consistent, pretty accurate. So from that standpoint, I wouldn't want to change a whole lot if I'm North. I think I just want to build on it and maybe build some more variation in your offense. It's been a lot of runs up the middle. And then at the beginning of the game, we saw some jet sweeps. We saw some end arounds. We saw a little bit of trickery with their offense, and I really want to see a little bit more of that. You kind of mentioned the end of that second half, run a passing play out of that slot T offense that's been working so well. I'm curious to see if that's something they add here.
No, I don't know if there would be an illegal motion mix in there, but you're running the slot T. Could you shift into like a 4-wide set? You know what I'm saying? Like that throws the defense off more than they already are facing slot T, which they don't see very often.
No.
So if you can audible out of it and you get this weird play that you can't predict, you can't get ready for it. The defense doesn't know what they're covering.
No, and
it's something to look at.
It's for the offense. You'll probably be catching a weird personnel package because for slot T, you're gonna load the box a little bit. You're gonna have a few more D linemen. Switch to 4 wide. They're gonna be not prepared for what you're trying to do, like you just said.
So force a 2nd and 7, ball on the 18. Quarterback keeper Champ takes it up the middle and brings it down. It should be a first down for the Knights, and they have had no trouble moving the sticks tonight.
Yeah, Kane, that's exactly kind of what I was talking about. Variation in their offense. That's something we haven't really seen all night. Was a designed run, QB power straight up the middle with Champ, and I mean, look what just happened. You got 6-7 yards there. I think you just need to keep building plays that you have in the back of your playbook. I don't know. I think that was a good sign.
Officials meeting up midfield. Talking it over. And that will move the ball back for the Knights. False start action on the field.
Kane, I think I jinxed him.
We have so many times tonight. It's been an unpredictable ball game. That I would say it hasn't been the commentator's curse. It has been a very weird ball game.
I could not agree more. Even this score line that's sitting on the scoreboard right now, 27-12. Kane, I don't know if you've seen it before, but on Twitter there's the scoreagami for sports. I think 27-12 in a football game is probably a scoreagami.
I would say that would be probably about the lowest on the pyramid that anybody would guess this game would turn out to be at halftime score.
No, I liked your prediction that you had at the beginning of the game. In the 20s for both teams at halftime, and then it becomes more of a field control, ball control in the second half as the defenses adjust. I still think that second half of your prediction is going to come true. I think this is going to be a lot less scoring and more trying to control the field and control the ball.
I truly believe that if North wants to chew off time off the clock, they'll do it. I mean, they're facing a 2nd and 12, ball on 13. Every play that you run takes off a good chunk, and that's a jet sweep out to the right side. Great wrap tackle there for St. Charles.
But those are the plays you need to keep running, right? Like that was an exception to what's normally going to happen, right? Most of the time, that corner is not going to come around the blocker and make a great tackle like that. Keep forcing them to make open field tackles that most of the time they're not going to make, right?
I say both sides really, if they get a one-on-one opportunity, they've broken it.
They've been making the other guy miss a lot.
Absolutely. All right. And they will stack the box here. Drops back. A deep throw. And there's a lot of contact. The PI flag will come down on the 43-yard line. St. Charles claims it was clean. Definitely up in his face. A little bit of pushy action there.
Yeah,
But
Kane, I don't want to point fingers, but when the DB immediately starts jumping up and yelling as soon as the flag's thrown, that means he's guilty.
a little bit of denial coming from him there. But okay, that's 16 penalties now for St. Charles High. I mean,
you
it's
mentioned in the
just
first half, that's about double the NFL average.
It's incredible. So that will be called pass interference, and that will move the sticks. Automatic first
Our
down.
16th penalty from St. Charles. What did we count for FHN? We're looking at maybe two or three.
We're looking at 2.
Okay.
2 penalties up until this point.
FHN's kind of on a typical game, right? 4 or 5 is about the average game, right? It's quite a lot.
Run up the
for
left
sure.
side, gets an opening. Well, stiff arm on a defender. Great open field tackle again from St. Charles High. That's number 15 who just had the PI, bounces back. It's always good to see somebody post penalty, make a good play, come back, not lose their confidence just because something went wrong.
Kane, through all of these unpredictable plays, they've all been entertaining, right? Like, we kind of talk about how one-on-one a lot of these offensive players have been making the other guy miss, but then there's also plays like that. That was a beautiful tackle. This has been, and if you separate the game into little pieces, this has been a really, really great football game.
There has been no slow portions. And motion out of the backfield. Gets it to the running back. Bobbled. Who will hold on to it? That is an impressive
That was
catch.
impressive.
He bobbled it twice before he got nailed. Just a few yards past the line of scrimmage, but manages to come down with it. And 2 yards is 2 yards.
Colin Conley running into a bit of a wall there.
Yeah, 3 yards on that completion. So, sorry. What does North do here? You think maybe we take a shot downfield? 2nd and 7. I could see a short slip pass, but knowing North's offense, it'll be should be an inside run. And keep it inside. A good gain. Gets it almost up to the first down marker, but will stay about a half yard short.
But yet again, that was a great tackle.
Both sides are just, they're playing smart football despite the penalties. They're both playing physical, good, entertaining high school football. So
I think there is definitely a shift from that first half. This has been really great fundamentals to open this half from both sides. We're running the football deep right up the middle on the FHN side. St. Charles, when they find an open offensive player, they're making the tackle that they need to. This is grit at its finest. This is a game that's going to come down to that final whistle. Despite the 25-point deficit, I don't think St. Charles is too far out of it.
Yeah, I think they're a few big plays away from it. Like, looking in the first quarter, they had Jordan Rowe run for 61 yards after getting pushed back 10-15, getting chased down by a linebacker. Ran for 61, ran all the way back in the end zone. Since that, North is kind of limited Jordan Rowe's running ability a little bit, but one more of those plays, you're back in this ball game like that. So that will be penalty 17 on St. Charles High. And 17 penalties. You're reaching uncharted territories for a third quarter.
That's a way to put it, Kane. That's for sure a way to put it.
If you said half of these, you have 8 penalties, the ball game is just a completely different story.
I think we'd have a tie football game right here.
I'd say it'd be tied, or maybe tides would have changed. I mean, penalties not only cost you yards, but they cost you momentum, they cost you energy.
Yeah.
They really they set you back. Like, the team morale on the sideline, that's a big wrap tackle, drops in the backfield for about 4 yards. That'll force a 3rd and 9. But like I said, I mean, the penalties don't just hurt you physically as you can see it, but that mental aspect of it, it just hurts you in any sport. I mean, you're looking at basketball, you're looking at lacrosse, like, you can look at any sport, penalties, flags, whatever. They're going to set you back, the whole team, not just the one player. So it'll be interesting to see how or even if St. Charles can clean up their undisciplined style of play. And there's another flag thrown on the field. That one will be on North, so that'll be their 3rd of the game.
Yeah,
false start
to be
action.
a false start. Yeah, okay.
So that will push them all the way back to like about a 2nd and 10.
Line of scrimmage for 2nd and 10.
2nd and 10 play here. Ball now back on the 47-yard line. So 2nd and 10. It's just like an incomplete pass. You treat this no differently. Can't let it get in your head. Looking at that trips on the south side. And it's a wide receiver screen. Beager breaks a couple tackles, but inevitably will be stopped at the line of scrimmage. Nothing to gain on that play.
Yeah, Kane. We mentioned growth from last week. You know, they had a tough loss last week, but everything's been growing. They had quite a few plays similar to that screen right there, and while that didn't result in 7 yards, they're growing.
Yeah.
The first couple I saw last week, it was incomplete passes. It was a bobbled snap. They're growing. Those are plays that you want to keep in the back of your playbook because I think that'll work.
And the confidence is up for him right now, I would say. I mean, they're looking good. Look at this. Roll out right. He'll take off. Champ, a big hit after a gain of about a yard or two. That'll force 4th down. And this is the first punt we've seen from North. So no punts first half. Coming out second half, we will see a punt. So the punt for St. Charles High was a very good punt.
Yeah, our first
Totally
time
flipped the
seeing
field
Mo
and-
Huff tonight. Mo, like I was talking about earlier, Mo is also a soccer player, multi-sport athlete in the same season. He is playing for MLS Next for St. Louis City. Really great soccer player. Has quite a boot on him, as you can kind of tell. He's the punter. We saw him a little bit last week. They didn't get to punt a whole ton. But I saw a lot of promise, and I think if you keep getting this guy reps, he's just going to continue to impress you.
Yeah, one thing about Mo is he can kick both legs. I mean, you see him warming up. He's warming up right. He's warming up left.
Yeah.
He's a soccer player. He has that capability. So, while that doesn't come into play often as routine punts, you just take the snap, punt it away.
Yeah.
If you're getting pressured on one side, he has the ability to flip to his left side.
I agree.
It's much tougher to prepare for a punter when they don't have a weak or a strong side. So we'll see how this Mo back for the punt. Returner deep down on the 6-yard line.
Why are you staring at me?
All right, 4th and 8. Ball on the 45. Looking to pin him deep here. 5 minutes left here in the third quarter. Good punt for Mo. Keeps it well short. And the ball will be dropped at the 25-yard line. So just about a 20-yard punt. Not exactly what they were hoping for.
Yeah, but at the same time, right, you don't want a touchback sure would have pinned them a little bit further back. But if you're Mo, you probably don't want to absolutely kill this ball because you do need to fit it in that range right there. So all things considered, I think that's a really great, not a really great, but I think that's a good punt.
Yeah, and it's first punt of the game. He's been cold for 3
exactly.
quarters.
That's a great point. That's a great
So
point.
if he comes out swinging, obviously he's been warming up on the sideline or whatever, but if he comes out swinging on that, you might turn into something bad when you shank a punt, you fumble it. I think you keep it steady, easy, and if it doesn't turn out to be a Tory Taylor-esque punt, then so be it. But
Shameless Iowa plug, Kane.
that'll be a nice little jet sweep out to the about 3-yard gain and gets them up to about the 30-yard line.
Not sure exactly, but that could have been Kai Moses. He's kind of been absent to start this game, but he's been a big factor in the past for this team. And maybe a reason that they have started out so slow is he hasn't been a big factor into this game.
So he had a rushing touchdown last week against Westminster. Big key portion into how they won that game, 28-25. And that's a takeoff all the way, breaks through multiple defenders on his way to a touchdown. St. Charles is back.
And guess who? It's Jordan Rowe returning to the end zone. He might as well just build a house out there.
Set up shop because they are back. This will be an exciting end of the third and into the fourth quarter now. Cuts that 15-point lead back to 9. Do you think they go for 2?
Yeah, Kane,
They
I don't
bring it-
see Jordan Rowe walking off the field. If I'm the offensive coordinator here. We're going for 2. We make it a 7-point lead as compared to 9.
Yeah. If you try to go for the PAT, which you already missed 2 today, you go for it. Say you complete it, it's an 8-point game. All you're doing is delaying the inevitable of having to go for a 2-point conversion or kick a field goal to win this game.
Just make your life a little easier in the fourth quarter. I think an hour or 30 minutes from yourself, your future self is going to be a lot happier with you, and you only have to kick a point after rather than going for 2.
However, they don't complete this. The ball game sticks at 9, a 2-possession game.
I also
the
don't
risk
think,
reward. The reward is higher than the risk in this scenario.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think you're still sitting in the third quarter, so I'm not sure you're too worried about the amount of possessions.
It's a little change here for him. Substituting some players off. Looks to be a timeout on the field. So St. Charles, what a play! I mean, just a phenomenal run. Got all the way from the 40, broke a couple tackles around midfield. Got past a few more guys at the opposite 40. Took off. Green grass ahead. So
yeah, we said it a few times, but that was quite a field flipper and a momentum flipper in another. Like, you went from you were down 15. You weren't on the ropes, but you definitely didn't feel good. And I feel like now you're back on the attack.
Yeah, if we kind of look back to the start of that drive, or I guess the end of the previous drive. Mo Huff, his punt was 20 yards, which obviously there's always a worse scenario. He still got the ball out and made it downfield, but you pin him back within the 15, the 10, you 5 more yards back. Think about how much different of a run that would have been. Think about the play calling.
Well, and I also think back to how would St. Charles go about that first down differently if they were back 10 yards. You know what I mean? So I definitely see your point. I definitely think this still falls on the defense, right? Allowing a 50-yard run there. My math is definitely off there, but 50-plus yard run there, field flipper, regardless.
You can't dwell on the past. You can't say, well, if we would have punted it better, or if we would have stopped
Yeah, exactly, because it still falls on you needed to execute a little bit better. But, that is why you build a bit of a cushion here. You don't have to score every single drive. You do still hold a 9-point lead as it currently stands.
Take some chunk plays, but one thing I've learned over playing basketball for 9 years now is that you can't blame a game, and I'm sure this is, it crosses over to football too. You can't ever blame a game on the ref or on the other team, because at the end of the day, you could have executed better. And right there, they could have blamed the 17 penalties for their 15-point deficit. Right there, they broke off 50 yards. So... And North's defense, you can't say, there was a holding call back there. It didn't get called. You could have executed better. You could have had a tackle. There's always something. Exactly. There's always something that you could have done in that game to make a difference on the play that went your way or didn't go your way. And that's how it's always been in basketball, and that's what I've kind of learned over the years. So I think that's kind of what we're seeing today. Both sides can try to blame, but it just, it's how the games worked.
Kane, I couldn't agree more, right? Because the bottom line is you can't go back and change the past. You can only learn from the mistake that you made.
Absolutely. Okay, well, we have an injured player on the field. He just got lifted off the field. No ambulance or anybody. Nothing serious enough for that, but
looks like the trainer's following him. But he does look good enough to walk around. Just definitely a frustrating one for him, right? You never want injuries to play a factor in how this game goes about, right?
So North had 12 guys on the field there, and Mikey Moe just took off for the sideline. So the PAT back, and that'll be a false start on North. So what does that mean? So they're kicking the PAT. They're going to try to put it
it's gonna be on the one
at an 8-point game, and now you're on the one, like you're football length away from the goal line. So does that influence how you? I would say going for 2 would be your best bet here, but. We'll see how they play out. The kick team stays on the field.
I would have thought you would have run out a 2-point here, especially considering you're now half the distance to the goal line.
Yeah. Offensive line just trots up a couple extra feet. Okay, well, we've seen some trick plays already. And we've seen onside kicks. We've seen some laterals. We've seen all sorts of stuff coming from the St. Charles High offense. Do you think maybe there's a trick play in store here? It's not out of the question. Oh, and North points. It's a false start on the kick team, so it'll set them back. Penalty number 19 for St. Charles High.
So, Kane, where does that leave us now? So the false start pushed them half the distance to the goal line. But then, does that just counteract, I guess? Now they're at the same spot they first were?
I don't know what to tell you. It is ugly football right now coming from St. Charles. So, the PAT, again, he's missed 2 PATs tonight, so what happens here? It's a long-awaited question. And that one does go through the uprights. So it comes back. He is now 32% on the PAT mark.
Hey, so he put one through. That's all that matters.
27-19 will be the score. 4 minutes left in the third quarter. And it's shaping out to be just about the football game we expected. Very evenly matched programs. Very different programs, but
yeah, I totally
respectively,
agree.
they've both been great teams. It's been a very fun game to watch.
I couldn't agree more, right? I think the unexpected does make it more fun, right? Like the broad storyline of the game is what we expected, right? 2 evenly matched teams, but the way we've gotten to this point is definitely not how I expected it, right? 27-19 as we sit
with no field
ticking
goals.
down.
That is the biggest thing.
With no
field
goals.
Goals in this entire matchup.
That is a yeah.
Return team back. See what they can do. Do we see? This will be the 4th attempt now, and St. Charles High has not yet kicked the ball downfield on a kickoff. They have strictly stuck to onside kicks. Do we see a 4th onside attempt?
I hope not.
For St. Charles' sake, I hope we do not see another onside kick.
I mean, Kane, it just feels a little weird, right? You know, we're in the third quarter, and I'm seeing an onside kick. Hey, but, I mean, it isn't the first time. I'm trying to think back to onside kicks not in the fourth quarter. I remember back in the day, the Saints started off their Super Bowl victory. The second half, they started with an onside kick, recovered it.
The unexpected, except they...
But, yeah.
So.
See, the problem with that is nobody expected it. It was unprecedented, and now they just went for a 4th one.
Squib kick all the way down. I see the concept they kind of went with. Mikey Miller on the return, and could be a block in the back. There's a flag on the field. Ball was ruled down around the 24-yard line, but again, a flag previously. This could be 20. Block in the back on the return team. Francisville North, their 4th penalty of the night. So that will push them back.
Yeah, a block in the back penalty is one of those where it's so tough, right? Like a guy's running past you, it's hard not to just
put some hands on him.
Put some hands on him, but you get caught a lot of times.
It's definitely one of the more called, like seen and called and caught plays that officials can dial in on.
The cliche that offense always talks about is that there's a holding call on every single football play, and I sort of agree with that. But I also think on these special teams plays, the same rule apply. I think there's some kind of holding or block in the back or something on every single play. Yeah. So it kind of just depends when it's called.
There's always something that you could call.
Yeah, I agree.
Just 9 times out of 10, they just aren't. So.
And that's one of the tough things about being a referee, right? Is it's you have to discriminate which ones are the correct call. What affects?
Good run up the right side. He'll break that one off for about 15 yards. Well-designed play. So once again, an 8-point lead for Francis Howell North over St. Charles High. The Knights lead the Pirates. Just ticking under 4 minutes here in the third quarter. Francis Howell North gets the first down, moving the ball up the field. Despite the penalty, didn't set him back all that much. So we'll see what they have to draw up here. Two receivers on the bottom of your screen. They'll definitely be one to watch here. We've seen this formation before.
And we've seen Beeger be the threat down deep.
And that'll be a handoff. He is just swarmed in the backfield. A barrage of blue. Takes him down. 4 yards in the backfield. Sets up a 2nd and 14. So yeah, no room to work there. Really, it wasn't anybody's fault. Just the play took a long time to develop. Heavy blitz on that one. Definitely expecting the run. It just played out that way.
Yeah, you know, I think it may just me always trying to find the positive in a play, but I really like that play call, right? Getting Champ the ball in open field. He's surprised you and made you happy more often than he hasn't, right? There's been a few plays like that, but I feel like they've definitely been more positive. Get him an opportunity to make somebody miss.
Yeah, North has done a really good job. So has St. Charles. They've just worked a lot of guys in. Deep throw downfield onto an open Mikey Miller. And that is a 45-yard completion for the Francis Howell North Knights.
Mikey
First
Miller
down.
has had himself a great first home game. And like I said earlier, a great first impression to this FHN crowd. They will know the name Mikey Miller real soon.
So I have been playing backyard football and PE pickup with him for the past 3 years, and he was no doubt in my mind, no doubt in anybody on that field's mind that he would be a star in high school. Not sure we expected what we've seen today. An interception, racking up just over 50, just around 50 receiving yards for him as well. Playing both sides of the ball and playing it very well. So
yeah, I always think it's really cool when those young players, they don't let the nerves get to them, right? Mikey has been one of the more talented players on the field all game, but he's not letting the pressure get to him, and it's great to see.
So, you know, there's going to be a loss of 2 on that one, but again, you have so many positive plays. I don't feel like the momentum has really ever disappeared for North. I mean, it's gone down a little bit. Obviously, you're never going to stick at 100% momentum the whole game. But if you're North, you've never really had a point where you're like St. Charles has really controlled the game. I mean, you are controlling everything that's happening right now. Handoff up the middle and brings them down after a gain of about 5-6 yards. So, again, one negative play, they bounce back with a better positive.
Exactly. Yeah, Kane, we saw that deep ball that obviously worked real well. We haven't seen a whole lot of them, but the success rate's been pretty high, I think, all
one
things
interception,
considered.
which was a late second quarter decision. Probably not the best one. Not playing characteristic Francis Howell North football. But we've seen it work once, maybe twice. So
If I'm FHN, I don't know if I want to have that weight again. I think I want to throw deep again.
But you're looking at the clock. That's third quarter. That's winding down 8-point lead, and you're knocking on the doorstep.
Yeah, that's true. That's
and
very
there's
true.
a flag. That's delay game penalty.
Yeah,
on the offense.
The way Champ was walking towards the sideline, I had a feeling that he knew it was on his side of the ball.
Well, that'll push him back 5 and set up a 3rd and long.
No flag on the play. Timeout was called by...
Oh, timeout.
So,
okay.
yeah, timeout was called.
So Coach Bevel was aware that they were running down.
Takes
Called
their
a
first time out of
timeout.
the half. So that'll
See, I'm okay with that. I think as you're entering the fourth quarter, 2 timeouts, especially with high school football, I don't think you're in a bad spot by any means.
In high school football, you're never running a 2-minute offense where you have to really clock manage. I mean, a lot of it
I was just going to say, I don't think timeouts are used in the way that it is at these upper levels where it's purely used as kind of just a stoppage point. I think you do use your timeouts as actual timeouts, right? You're using it to talk it over. Yeah, I think there's definitely some promise here. You're approaching the red zone. You're not quite there yet, about 15 yards outside of it.
All right, so North, 3rd and 8 on the 34-yard line with a minute and a half left in the third quarter. And that will be a false start on North, so they get the penalty for delay game, take it away, and then still end up having to move back on the false start. So
Penalty called against the Knights.
You know, it happens. It happens. At least you're not rocking 19 numbers like St. Charles. They have got to clean that up fourth quarter if they want to get back into this game. The third quarter has been better for them. That first half, rocking 15 turnovers. Now you've only seen 4 here in the third quarter. So definitely an improvement, but definitely something that they need to tone it down here in the second half.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think on trying to think on the bright side for St. Charles, right? If we're comparing it to other sports, in basketball, if you're struggling with foul calls all game.
A deep ball up in the air, no good. The defender had it and just went in and out of his hands.
As I was saying, in basketball, for instance, if you're struggling with fouls all game, that does carry over into that fourth quarter where some of your best players aren't going to be available to be on the floor. The plus in football is once that penalty is called, it's kind of you get to be a goldfish, for lack of a better term. You can just forget that penalty ever happened.
It's still football. Doesn't matter how far those markers are. You still got to get there. So.
Exactly.
All you're trying to do is push that ball upfield and obviously trying to get a touchdown.
Another opportunity for Mo Huff here. We talked about that for his standards, kind of a short punt on that last one. I would not be surprised if it's back to his standards and he can. Another
delay of game. Delay of game penalty on the offense. Did not look like a timeout was used this time around. I think maybe that was to give him some more room.
Yeah,
on the
I was
punt
just
side.
going to say maybe that was a strategic delay of game because it really didn't look like Mo was even close to ready there.
No, he was standing pretty flat-footed. And
yeah, I think maybe Coach Bevel sent them out here and were like, hey, we're going to give you a little bit more room for this kick. Why don't we take the delay of game, take those extra 5 yards? Now Mo has a lot easier of a time.
That's another straight-up kick, and it will not go the distance that he was hoping. Ball will fall on the 23-yard line. So, minute 20 left in the quarter. What do you think this offensive attack is for St. Charles? I mean, touchdown out last time. Big touchdown. Big run.
I want to come up with a really creative answer for you, Kane, but I think you don't really change much of anything. I think
you don't have to.
Every time you've been going out there, positive things have been happening. So whatever strings are getting pulled on that sideline that have enabled them to be as strong as they have been, keep doing what you're doing.
I would totally agree with that. And for North, is there any minor, even major adjustments that they have to make? I'm assuming it would be mostly minor switches because obviously you're up 8, but
yeah, I guess minor switches. The common theme is you can't stop the run.
Well, they did there. A big drop in the backfield. Jordan Rowe goes down hard.
That was a great open field tackle, and right as I was talking about stopping the run, they met him in the backfield, and they won the battle.
It's going to be a 2nd and 16 coming up for the Pirates.
Big loss on that play.
So clock winding down here. Under a minute in the third.
Get probably one more snap off before the end of this quarter.
We're on a 4-wide set. Does throw the ball. Short. Little wide receiver screen. Picks up a good chunk of yardage to make it a 3rd and manageable.
Maybe a second one, depending if they rush to the line. Probably one more play here.
Yeah. They're not worried about wasting around 30 seconds. I mean, they got business to take care of.
Full another quarter also.
Full quarter, and they got things to do. So I would say you don't do anything dumb here. You don't go deep. It's a 3rd and 5.
I think you keep your methodical drive going. It doesn't appear they will get a snap off before the end of this quarter. They'll take it into their 4th.
Yeah, I foresee a run here. Personally, I totally
probably
a quarterback keeper as we've seen this Pirate offense.
I think you keep the clock continuing to run. Because with the ball, the clock is always your friend in a game like this. In one possession games, it's you and the clock against your opponent. Really,
yeah. It's all clock is most always on your side unless it's late fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But that'll put an end to our 3rd quarter. So really, the biggest takeaway for St. Charles has been penalties. Obviously, it's been a key we've talked about all game. And the biggest takeaway for North is probably their defense as a whole. Their secondary looks pretty good. Their run defense has struggled. Not necessarily the line, but that second level of run defense. That linebacker
I
core.
totally agree.
They just haven't put a spy on Jordan Rowe.
Yeah.
They haven't been able to slow him down as much as we
Or
kind
at
of
least an
anticipated.
effective spy, right? Like, I'm sure that's been a conversation they've had. And maybe they've sent somebody out with the assignment of, here, you're going to guard Jordan Rowe, but he's too elusive, he's too fast. I don't want to say it's impossible, but I don't know if it's something that you necessarily focus on, hey, let's stop Jordan Rowe. I say let's minimize the damage.
Yeah.
Right?
I can definitely
When
see
he
that.
gets an open field, it's going to be hard to tackle him, but let's keep a guy in front of him, right?
It's like you're looking at some of like the all-time greats. This is a very large comparison. If you're looking at Tom Brady, I mean, I'm not saying Jordan Rowe is the next Tom Brady. I'm not saying he's not. I'm saying that when you look at these defenses that are trying to cover these great quarterbacks, you never see a defense shut them down for no completions. You know, there's never no touchdowns, no completions, 6 sacks. You know what I'm saying? So as long as the defense is holding him and limiting his abilities, which they have this third quarter, or they just had this third quarter, I think that the defense really should be giving themselves a pat on the back, even though they did allow the score, even though they don't have the ball right now. I still think it's a great look for the defense.
I totally agree. I think, right, you're approaching, you're at first down right here. They're in their own side of the field. You know, looks to be man coverage. Something I've noticed from this FHN defense is there's not a whole lot of press man coverage.
No, it's been a lot of zone, which, I mean, if you're St. Charles, can you attack that a little bit more? I mean, they have the quarterback and receiver core that you feel like potentially they could kind of slide in between those zones, and they have the slit passes that they had up the gut first quarter.
I was
and
just going to
second
say,
quarter.
like, if he's not going to press you, Jordan Rowe's been able to get the ball out pretty quick, run a really short route, get him the ball quickly. Both teams, I don't want to pick on FHN, both teams have had this problem, but open field tackling has been a struggle for both teams. Get the guy the ball in his hands quickly and see what he can do.
And Jordan Rowe drops to pass. Good completion, but he will drop it.
That was a great play from Jackson Pfeiffer. He did get beat, but he didn't let that be the end of it. He got a hand in there and caused the drop.
Again, but that's what St. Charles is looking to do. They found the zone they're running. Looks to be a cover 3. They're sitting deep off of it. St. Charles, they cut right between where the cornerback will drop and the safety will come up to press. They found the perfect cut in, had it, just good coverage. It was good offense and just better defense.
Totally agree.
So this sets up a 3rd and 8 on the 35-yard line. A crucial play. Jordan Rowe drops, rolls out to the left, throws it over top, and in and out of the hands. Cannot get the first down. 4th and 8.
That's always going to be a
It's too
frustrating
early.
one.
It's too early for a fourth down try.
I would agree. I don't think you're really in 4-down territory either. I think you need to get on your own 40-yard line before you can even really start thinking about stuff like that. But
40
like
is
you
in
just
the
said,
stretch.
there's 11 minutes left in this football game. I think it's a little early to start thinking about that, especially with it only being one possession.
Yeah, nothing should be stressed right now. So, back to return, sitting around the 30-yard line. Not anticipating a deep punt. However, the last one that St. Charles had, their only punt of the game, it did look pretty good. And that could be...
I'm not seeing a flag
I
yet.
was going to say roughing the kicker, but it looked like...
It looked like his own guy ran into him.
It was the return team. It was definitely North definitely hit the punter, but it looked like it was timed good enough to the point where he was going for ball. The ball had not yet gone out of his hand, so they're gonna call that clean. I mean, if it's not a super late hit, they're gonna call that clean 9 times out of 10. Great job.
And that's a win for FHN.
Yeah, great job there. Getting the ball up on the 48-yard line sets them up just perfectly to go into this fourth quarter.
Yeah, I think a score really is a game changer here for FHN. It's a one-score game. There's 10 minutes left. It's definitely not a knockout punch for St. Charles, but it hurts your morale a lot having to go back out on the field where your last score just got neutralized.
Yeah,
as compared to still being in that game with an 8-point lead.
North plays their cards right. They should. I mean, you're in great field position to score. Even if you can't score, you can probably knock off 3 minutes of this game.
Yeah,
easily.
that's still a win in itself.
And that's a big run for them. That's what they need to continue to do. A 9-yard pickup forces a 2nd and 1. And again, you're taking 40 seconds off every play because it's a very run-heavy offense. You're not throwing a lot of incompletions. You're not throwing a lot at all.
Yeah.
So the more you can run the ball, the more time you can really take off that clock, you're going to look great.
That clock's still running.
So again, 27-19, Friends Howell North Knights lead the St. Charles High Pirates. Coming in, Knights have the ball on the 44-yard line. It's fourth quarter, late game. Both teams definitely looking a little fatigued. It's late. I mean, these guys have been at school all day. It's 9:30. Everybody's just fighting. And at school, and they're tapping their toes. They are waiting for kickoff. And when time comes, they're already a little exhausted. And you're playing 4 quarters of hard football, which is what we expected coming into this game. I mean, those guys just have to be beat, don't they, Braeden?
Yeah, like, if I'm doing my math right, and most of those guys left their house about 6:30 this morning.
Or earlier, even.
Putting in a 15-hour day at this point without, getting home. But they're not going to go home without a football win. That's what they're hoping for.
Absolutely. So, yeah, about to hit the 9-minute mark. And North is just looking dominant right now. 3rd and 1. Picks up the first down. And then it hasn't been a struggle for North to move these chains. Again, 1 punt for them all night. They do have a turnover, but the 1 punt is a great thing for them. And again, St. Charles High, also a phenomenal job. 2 punts all night. Both offenses they're doing clock management. They're holding the ball. The time of possession is great on both sides. Pretty balanced for the most part. So I don't think you can really blame, you can't blame clock management and, field position as, a factor on why one team is winning or another. I mean, both have been pretty balanced.
Yeah, and, I mentioned it earlier, and I don't like that it gets used as a negative term, but Champ Pauley's been managing this game really, really well. He's considered all factors, right? His field management been awesome. His clock management has been awesome. He's been really accurate. And then kind of an underrated part of his game for being such a new quarterback is his ball fakes. I've been faked from up here. I can't imagine being level with him. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, we're talking both sides, too. I mean, just the end-arounds, the fake motions, both offenses, they've watched enough film on these defenses. Because that's another overlooked part of football is that not only do defenses study the crap out of offenses have to study defenses. They have to know who they're playing. They have to know who to attack. They have to know different schemes that the defense has. Both sides, they've just countered it very well. So that'll be a run up the gut. Pretty good pickup.
And Jordan Rowe on the other side of the ball is kind of a good example. A lot of these guys play both sides of the ball, so they understand what works and what doesn't, right?
St. Charles roster for talent, not that they're anywhere short of talent, but I mean Kai Moses running back, Jordan Rowe quarterback, a wide receiver, linebacker. They have a linebacker in for punt returns. They have all sorts of guys all over the field playing both sides of the ball, and sometimes, in some cases, all 3 sides of the ball.
Yeah.
So a drop there. A deep pass down the right sideline to seemingly just a breadbasket to the D-back.
I'll look at it this way. He did just pin them onto the 1. So I think I'm going to call that an arm punt, and we're going to move
touchdown
on.
Pirates, I guess, but
but I mean they're down on their own 1,
yeah,
Kane.
I mean,
this is going to be a challenge.
Okay, you think about this in one way. North was at a 2nd and 16 bad situation. Were they going to get the first down? There's a chance. There's always a chance for everything. Good chance they didn't. Mo Huff's come off 2 bad punts, about 45 yards total.
Yep.
Averaging about 20, 25 per kick. You don't see a pin on the 1 in Mo's future. So that play right there, though it did give him the ball back maybe with 2 extra minutes, you got 8 minutes to play in this ball game. They're on the 1. I'd send the house. I mean, I would blitz at least 7.
And in general, I like the aggressiveness, right? You know, you're leading this football game. The obvious answer is, okay, let's run this clock down as low as we can. But FHN didn't do that. They still want to go for shots, and I like the deep ball. It just didn't fall your way. But now you have an opportunity to get a score here on defense. You know what I mean?
Gotcha, I gotcha. So, Jordan Rowe is going to take that one up the gut. Won't get much, but no safety.
I was going to say he moves out of his own end zone, so that's a win in itself.
So, running 4 wide with 1
I don't know,
back
Kane.
in
You
the
think there's a
backfield.
pass here?
I
wow.
guess so. It's going to be a short one. That slip. We saw first half.
That was
We
a
saw it
great
work
play.
time and time again. They strayed from it in the third quarter. They strayed from the formula. Kind of paid the price, but I mean that they haven't been getting those nice, easy completions. Come back to it on the 2-yard line when they needed a big play most.
That was a really high IQ play from Rowe there. He understands the situation. He's standing in his own end zone. He needs to get the ball out quickly. He finds somebody over the middle, something that it hasn't come at a premium. It's come at a premium all game. That was a great play there.
Absolutely. So he'll drop to throw again. Jordan Rowe doesn't find anybody. Takes off down the left side. Bottom of your screen. Will throw it. Wide open receiver. Caught, bobbled. And he holds on to the ball.
Is that David Tyree?
Phenomenal
Helmet
catch.
catch.
Phenomenal catch to set them up on the other side of the field. What a drive for St. Charles. We were just talking about how that could have been a blessing. That could have been they're on the 1-yard line. But now you're looking at the repercussions. You're looking at that interception, what that really has done to flip this ball game. Now, instead of you holding the ball to the 6-minute mark and then punching the ball away, it's the 6:30 mark. The other team has the ball and they're
In your own side of the field.
on your own side of the field with all the momentum. Option keeps it himself. Jordan Rowe for 5 yards. This St. Charles offense is looking good.
We've talked about it before, but Jordan Rowe the whole time has just looked very composed in everything he's been doing, and you can see it's coming to pay dividends, right? A play like that where he's under a ton of pressure, he's got 5 guys screaming in his face. He just rolls out and finds an open receiver downfield, flips the play, and then the very next play, QB power, and he gains another 4.
Yeah. So we have a timeout on the field.
No play is too big for him.
Yeah, it was probably a good timeout used there by North. I mean, you're looking at momentum being swung. That does bring them down, though.
Yeah, you for sure want to talk it over, right?
I mean, you're looking at the last 4 or 5 offensive plays for St. Charles. It's not looking good. It's not looking great. So, as a head coach, it's a smart call. Kind of bring it back. Maybe give yourself a second to recoup. It's like a little ice in the kicker action, but more for Jordan Rowe, who's been the kicker for the offense this entire game. So,
Yep.
See how they can bounce back after this. Student section here for both sides, St. Charles and Frentown North, both still packed. Friday night football game, home opener for the Knights.
Yeah.
Everybody's excited. I mean, this has been a long awaited time. Hours upon hours of summer camp for both teams, all leading up to the start of the season. They opened last Thursday. And, you're coming here for St. Charles. You're on the road. Jordan Rowe to a wide open receiver on the downfield side. Touchdown, St. Charles Pirates. So
All you can say there is that's a great play from Jordan Rowe, and I feel like I've said that a gajillion times, but every time it's worth it, right? He's under pressure. He steps up in the pocket. He finds an open receiver down the sideline. It's touchdown. It's a simple script, but they keep following it.
I would like to take a step back and say Jordan Rowe, I don't have to say it anymore. He's been a great quarterback, but we're looking at the time that he's had to throw the ball has been good. He's had a couple times where he's been pressured in the backfield, rolls out, obviously. That's his thing. But you look at all the times he hasn't been pressured, that offensive line has been a force up front.
Yes.
I mean, they have just rolled.
They've given him all the time he's needed all
on
game.
on that pass right there, you had a defender on Jordan Rowe's backside as well as 4 in the front. He was in a circle, but that O-line gave him enough time. Yeah. They trust Jordan Rowe. They gave him that time to throw the ball downfield, open receiver, and it results with 6. So you're looking at it, 2-point game.
Both teams going to talk it over. Kane, you think they're going to go for 2 here to tie the football game?
Gosh, you don't have to. I really don't think you have to.
With 5 minutes to play, that's a bit aggressive to not. You know what I mean?
You're looking at the momentum swing. You just had a pick. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
You just had the pick. The offense is probably a little bit rattled. That's Champ's second. So you're kind of looking at it, and it's you don't have to. You definitely, in my eyes, probably should, but you don't have to. I think if you're St. Charles, it's not a crazy call to come out and not do it. But here comes Rowe leading the charge on offense for the 2-point conversion.
I guess the question you more have to ask yourself is prepare if this doesn't go your way. Does a 2-point deficit, giving the ball back to North with under 6 minutes to play, is that crippling?
Yeah, well, I guess taking a step back on it, the PAT really doesn't help you that much.
No.
Regardless. Okay.
So, yeah, I guess it would always make sense to go
motion
for 2
across.
here, right?
Jordan Rowe drops back. Can't find a receiver. He'll roll to the left side, and it's green grass. Blows over into the end zone. 2-point conversion. Jordan Rowe has just been phenomenal facilitating this offense. And it looks like might be an unsportsmanlike conduct call. A very late flag on that one. That'll be 20 on him. That'll be 20 penalties if it falls on St. Charles.
Yeah, I don't know, Kane. I don't know if that was a necessary penalty, to be honest with you.
I didn't see much on it.
I saw Jordan Rowe jumping around a little bit, but
yeah.
To be fair, I think I'd be jumping around 3rd or 4th touchdown now.
Yeah.
He's had himself a day.
He's ran for 3. I want to say he's ran for 3 and
thrown another on this play.
For 1. So, yeah, if you're Jordan Rowe, I think you have a right to be excited, but.
My question is, how do I draft Jordan Rowe to my fantasy football team? I think
he would be up in the 30s, 40s.
He would be QB1 of the week. That is for sure.
So if you're North, you're gonna receive the ball. Okay. We take a step back here on the kickoff. So far, we've seen 3 onside kicks. We've seen a squib kick. We have yet to see an actual kickoff. Do we think this is maybe a confidence issue in the kicker?
That's a great question to bring up. No, I don't think so. I think they honestly believe that their hands team is better than FHN's, and they just think that they have a chance to get the ball back.
But North has proved time and time again. Now, 4 kickoffs, they have not recovered a single one.
I will tell you, Kane, if this is the one that they do get, it's worth it. You just got the ball back, tie game. So,
if you're going to go for one, I'd say at this point, you got to go.
If you're going to play your odds, then yeah, I get this will be the only time where I'm like, yeah, I think you should squib it.
Yep, got to go all the way.
I think if you're going to do it 4 times, why not make it 5?
I'm looking at it now. I don't think you can. That unsportsmanlike conduct pushes them back. Kickoff at the 25-yard line. That onside kick, if it's not recovered, that's 35-yard field. That's almost a guaranteed field goal.
Is there a chance you can get it to Beeger all the way back near FHN's 40 on a squib? I'm not sure.
Well, we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah.
And to kick. It'll be another squib kick off the sideline, and that will be a flag. The 21st of the night for St. Charles.
Kane, my question, do they match the amount of points they score to the amount of penalties that they earn?
I don't know. It'll be close.
This could be the first time we see that where a team scores more than 5 and matches with penalties. That would be crazy.
So remember an Iowa game 2 years ago, season opener was 2 safeties and a field goal with 9 penalties.
Wow.
So we won the game against D2 South Dakota State. As a season opener, 7-3, no touchdowns and 1 field goal.
No touchdowns against a D2 school.
Yes.
That probably was not your proudest Iowa fan moment.
2 safeties and a field goal. It was Iowa football. That's what I'll say.
Yeah.
So North, if they continue to play North football, I think they'll come out of this one with a win. But St. Charles High, they keep playing their style. They have full control of the game right now, I would say. Well, with these past three penalties in a row, it doesn't look good.
Yeah,
So, that's 22, by the way, just in case nobody was keeping count. That is the 22nd penalty for St. Charles High tonight.
Yeah, regardless of the result, if I'm thinking from both teams' perspective, putting up 27 points in week 2 is a win in itself.
Absolutely.
I think putting up 27 points against a defense that's probably similar in skill level to your offense, that's a win. Because you're showing that your offense can catch fire a little bit.
Both of these teams are very evenly matched.
I guess my
There's
main...
another flag on the field.
Let's see what it'll be.
I see both these teams coming out of the season around the 500 mark. I would say if they're not around the 500 mark, they're going to be next to each other.
Yeah.
In the standings, they'll be real close to each other in final outlook. So that'll be the Knights in 6th. So currently a total of 28 penalties tonight, and the leading score is 27. So we've at least beat that stat category.
Attaboy.
But here we go, 1st and 15 after what seems like forever ago was the kickoff. The snap up the middle, good coverage there by the D line, not letting him get any breathing room really.
My main hope for this FHN offense here would more directed towards Champ. I hope that there isn't any loss of confidence here. I think
They need
a
a fully confident quarterback.
well, less even him, but the confidence in him also. I think he threw a pick there, but yeah, he threw a pick there, but I don't think that's any reason to stop going for it. I think if you throw a ball in the near direction of David Beeger right now, he's going to come down with that football.
That's a run up the middle. And that's the clock management that they've been looking for. Another good chunk play. Only 2 on 1st down, but they're moving the ball. So ball now up around the 49 on the other side of the field. 3rd and 9 brings up a big play. This is the pivotal moment. Crowd is on their feet. I think you have to go pass here if you're the Knights. A 3rd and 9 late game. You got to try it. Drops back. Champ Pauly rolls out to the right side. Can't find anybody. Takes off. Breaks through the defenders all the way to the 30-yard line. An incredibly athletic play for Champ.
Talk about a strong quarterback that you have in Champ Pauly. When he sticks his foot into the ground, you're not taking him down.
The stadium is rumbling right now. Champ Pauly with a 22-yard run.
Take the top off the defense.
Absolutely. Yeah, now you're down 4 minutes, nearing field goal range. You can see Carson Howard lining up, getting his reps in on the sideline. I mean, they're in a great position here. I mean, this is
an awesome play.
Yeah. So we're running down here 1st and 10. Run up the middle, and that'll be stopped after. If you got back to the line of scrimmage at all, it might be a gain of 1. Colin Conley, he's had himself a pretty good night. I mean, we're not looking at any big chunk plays for the Knights. We're not looking at any big explosive breakoffs, but they're moving the ball. I mean, the whole night they've moved the ball. They've managed the clock.
The main word I can think of is just methodical, right?
It's football.
Yes, it's classic. Getting 5 yards each play is always going to be a winning formula.
Absolutely. So nearing that 4-minute mark. See what St. Charles has to offer on defense.
Yeah, I think it's just an unexpected here. St. Charles, you felt like you were kind of
and
cruising.
A big break for the Knights. That'll bring them up 8 more yards. Will not move
and
the
that
sticks.
clock keeps moving.
Will move the sticks. They'll give them the 1st down. That is a big spot for the Francis Howell North Knights. Now it brings them 1st and 10. Under 4 minutes here. It's looking great. It's shaping up. It should be a spectacular ending. The one we've expected all night. Right up the gut. Once again, it looks like the same play. Didn't have quite the same effect. Wonder if the offensive
If it's not broke, why fix it?
Yeah, it looks like the offensive coordinator just trying to kind of pull a fast one on him there, but
Yeah.
It's not that it didn't work. It comes up second and 8. You get about a 2-yard, 4-yard gain off that play. So no reason to change it.
To the 11 for a gain of 4. Brings up 2nd and 6 from a retired 11-yard line.
All right. Brings up a big second down here for the Knights. What does St. Charles have to do here? Bend, don't break?
Bend, don't break has to be your motto here. Force Carson Howard to make a kick here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And he'll dive over the line. He'll bring up a big 3rd down. I'm saying big every play, but that's because they're all important. Every play counts this late in the game, and when it's tied up like this, it really does matter.
Kane, I mean, there's 54 points on the board between the two teams. You know, I think it's fully fair to call every 3rd down big. It's high stakes here.
We're still looking at a scoreless second half for the Knights. I mean,
yeah, 15 points over on the other side of the ball.
Again, 15 points is a very weird score. Brought that up second quarter. This game has been weird, but it's been fun. So, and that'll be a end around the right side, wrapped up. Doesn't have enough to get the first.
So Kane, my next question: is it 4-down territory or is it Carson Howard?
I think we're playing Friendstown North football. I think we bring on the special teams unit.
I think that's the right decision, in my opinion.
Yeah,
taking a lead here is important.
Well, we are wrong once again. Hurry up to the line. Here they go.
My prediction is this ball doesn't get snapped. I think this is a hard count.
And you could be right here. 10 seconds on the play clock.
Yeah.
And they'll call timeout.
Hey, I made a right prediction. Finally.
Good call on that one, Braeden.
Yeah, I don't think it's a terrible decision to go for it on 4th. I really don't, because considering how close you are to the goal line, I don't think it's a bad idea. But I think squandering potential scoring just doesn't make sense. I think, especially because Carson's had his struggles tonight, but I think it's a good call to assume this is a pretty gimme kick here.
Yeah.
I think taking a 30-27 lead, handing the ball back with about under a minute and a half to go, I think that's a very good decision.
Yeah, some teams are just kind of built around this chancy offense, and a lot of times it really does work. You have a 4th and 3 late game, tie ball game, down in the red zone, you go for it. And a lot of times it pays off. North is just not one of those teams. They play football.
Yeah.
They play football smart. They play
it traditional, fundamental.
So here he goes. The biggest kick of the night, aside from the onside kicks, but
Well, I mean, not to add pressure to him. Luckily, he can't hear me, but probably the biggest kick of his football career so far. This could potentially be a game winner.
27-27, the snap. Up. It's good. Carson Howard through the uprights to put the Francistown North Knights on top 30-27 with a minute and 20 seconds left in this game.
Very big moment for Carson in his young football career. Really awesome to see his teammates really hyped for him. He's real hyped. That was an awesome play.
This is one of the few football games that I've been at where we're in the 4th quarter and the stands are still full. Student section is not cleared. The parents are still here, and I'm actually surprised. It is almost 10 o'clock, but the whole stadium is still on its feet. The bleachers are rumbling. The cheerleaders are getting the interaction that they want. Everybody is hyped for this ending, and St. Charles fans included.
Kane, I'm hyped. This is
no
matter
football.
what the result, this is an awesome football game. We're set it up 1:21 to go for St. Charles to get the ball back. We've been dealing with a great offense on both sides. I'm really excited to see what they cook up here. We talked about 2-minute drill. You're under 2-minute drill here. You're talking about a minute and a half drill here. I'm excited. 2
timeouts for St. Charles as they're set back to receive this kick. Stadium is alive. And a great kick by Carson Howard back into the end zone. So, clock stays at 1:21. And that'll be at the 20-yard line is where the ball will be placed to start this drive. What's the approach here? Obviously, we're on a little two-minute offense action if you're St. Charles, but what does that look like?
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier, but finding receivers on those little out routes outside the numbers is something that I feel these teams don't go to enough, right? DBs are not experienced. They haven't been playing for football too long. It's hard to beat him to the spot, right? So I think that's something to utilize here. You get out of bounds quick and you stop the clock. I think it makes too much sense here. I think at the bottom of your screen here, the wide receiver here, I would not be surprised if it's a quick out route.
Yeah. Here we go. Crowd is electric. The snap. It's a rollout down the bottom of your screen. Finds an open receiver, and he's just going to overthrow him for one of the first times tonight.
I was going to say, Kane, we haven't seen too many mistakes from him tonight. That might be the only one I've seen.
So that'll take 6 minutes off the clock. It'll bring up a 2nd and 10. You know, I would hate to be playing college football 25 right now. Stadium pulse is about maxed out for him.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be able to make any audibles. You know, my routes would be shaking. This would
Drops
be terrible.
Back, Jordan Rowe. Oh, comes down. That could be grounding.
And it was almost a party in the backfield.
The boys in blue are getting pressured heavy right now, not just from the players on the field, but from the fans. I mean, you get into that environment, it's tough to communicate, it's tough to think straight.
I mean, Kane, my chair's shaking, and I'm up in the booth. I can't imagine what it's like on the field.
Yeah, watching guys next to me, watching guys below us, and everybody is getting
Into
loud.
it, yeah.
1 minute and 9 seconds, 3rd down, and 10 to go. Jordan Rowe, you can only expect a look deep, but you could also expect a run out of the pocket. We've seen that from Jordan Rowe. A lot of big 3rd downs have resulted in big runs.
He's one of those players where you can't really eliminate any type of play here. He's one of those guys that in this situation you let him play.
Snap, drops back, finds him, and it's broken up by the secondary. That'll bring up a 4th and 10. Disciplined football from the Knights.
It's fundamental football, and that's what's playing off here.
Absolutely. 2 timeouts here for St. Charles. How do you play this out? Do you take a timeout, try to cool the crowd, or do you just go for it? Keep it rolling?
I think when you have a guy, when you have an offense of this caliber, you
want to utilize it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take a second. So, takes a timeout. That'll be St. Charles' 2nd of the half. Both teams, 1 timeout remaining. This is sure to be an exciting ending, no matter which way it shapes out. 1 minute and 3 seconds. 4th and 10. Ball on the 20. Carson Howard's kick could prove to be the game winner here after a missed PAT earlier.
Yeah, Kane, I mean, you just asked me the same question on 3rd, but what do you expect on 4th here from St. Charles?
Like I'm saying you gotta look deep, but you can't toss out Jordan Rowe's legs. Here they go. Lining up, sideline, crowd, defense, and offense.
3 receivers on the bottom of your screen. 5 wide.
5 wide. No backs to help the quarterback if any pressure comes. North rushes 4. Rowe out of the pocket. Looks deep. Catches and he'll be down.
If that's called in play, that is one of the craziest catches I have ever seen.
It is a complete pass from the 20 to the 44-yard line.
Kane, I can say is wow.
What a throw and what a catch from St. Charles. Now they're down with 53 seconds.
What a great play from Rowe and an even better play from the receiver, having the awareness to know.
Jordan Rowe crossed it.
Right back to the same
and he'll
guy.
get out of bounds after a 6-yard pickup. That was smart. The only problem that you really have is that you're looking at a kicker who has not performed his onside kicks and squib kicks.
Yeah, what is
essentially.
truly his range?
Yeah, we don't know his range. He's missed 2 PATs.
You're snapping it inside the 40. I think comfortably you need to be at that 20-yard line before you really want to start thinking about it.
You got to shoot end zone. I mean, your goal right now is end zone. And Jordan Rowe outside, cuts back, and there's a flag.
He's still going.
All the way, there's a flag. Could be a late hit on the play. So that'll bring up a big 3rd down decision if these flags bring them back. We'll see what the call on the field is. Referee's talking it over. 29 seconds to go. So that'll be a false start on the offense. Block in the back on the offense to push them back. St. Charles, just a demoralizing play after the great run by Rowe.
Yeah, that was going to pick up, 12 yards and get out of bounds at the end of it. Now you're still on the hook for that time that you lost, but you didn't get the yardage. Barely a tick under 30 seconds
the
here.
The whole booth is rumbling.
Kane, I'm looking out this window, and the window's shaking.
Sorry, it's looking a little rough out there. But again, everybody is here awaiting
Everybody's into it.
This last few snaps. The referee is taking their sweet time to come up with a call here on where they're going to spot it. But it will be a 2nd and 14. Replay 2nd down. Second and 14, 30 seconds to go. Ball. The referees, they keep just talking it over.
You know, Kane, I'm not a parent myself, but I do know what makes parents tick, and referees not doing their job, quote unquote, is not one of their favorites.
No.
And they want to get home, man. It's way past their bedtime.
I say again, reffing umpires, whatever. None of it is easy.
There's
so much to watch. It's just
there's 22 players that you're on the hook for watching every single movement of theirs. So when you miss a play, it's all your fault. No, it's not the case.
You have to watch 22 guys. Well, those parents can watch. Well, there's 500 parents in the stands watching those 22 guys.
Yeah, and then they're watching their kids every movement. It's real easy. I don't. Always respect for our referees.
Absolutely. So a big 2nd and 14, running a 4 wide spread. Kai Moses comes into the backfield. You couldn't imagine they'd run it this late in the game. But we'll see what Jordan Rowe has up his sleeve. Heavy pressure. Jordan Rowe, nowhere to go. Throws it.
Wow.
Looked like it could have been maybe
Jackson
grounded.
Pfeiffer was maybe a foot away from picking that football and ending this game. Wow.
Jordan Rowe. Incomplete pass. He's had 2 of those recently now that the North is bringing the pressure. I don't know if it's increased pressure or decreased protection.
Both.
Whichever one it is, St. Charles High's got to figure it out. 3rd and 14. This could be one of their last 2 plays. St. Charles motions across. Receiver in the slot. 4 wide. Jordan Rowe takes the snap. Increased protection. They got 6 across the middle, and it could have been the slip pass that they needed, but it's dropped wide open. Dropped it a little over his back shoulder. Definitely a catchable ball.
Kane, this is the coach in me, but on 4th down here, I'm going that exact same play to the exact same player.
Okay.
Let him make up for that mistake. That's not going to happen twice.
Yeah, I mean, you practice all year for that. He's a varsity receiver for a reason. He has hands. That's not because it's not because he's bad. It's because it's look at the environment right now. You can hear it right now. The whole stadium is shaking.
Some of the best receivers are the ones
Jordan
that drop
Rowe.
issues.
And a flag
Who will it be on?
A flag or a timeout will stop the clock.
An offsides call for FHN would be quite the backbreaker here. Excuse me.
Just waiting on a call of the officials. They're, you know, some people may get mad at them for taking their time, but I'd rather them take their time, make the correct decision, than rush it and call something dumb. So it'll be
Absolutely, it's always the correct decision to take as much time as you have.
4th and 9. The boys
Do
in
they
blue,
have
the boys in
one
blue
more
line up on
miracle?
the 48-yard line. Jordan Rowe looking deep. The snap. Heavy rush. Jordan Rowe rolls out of the pocket. He'll take off. Up the left sideline. Stays in bounds. He goes. Touchdown. Jordan Rowe. 48 yards. A game winner. 4.4 seconds on the clock. A mind-blowing play. Jordan Rowe playing with MVP caliber
Kane.
in this game.
He doesn't have 1, he doesn't have 2, and he doesn't have 3. He has 5. 5 touchdowns, 4 on the ground, 1 through the air. These are game of your career type numbers.
A 61-yard rush in the first half.
And
he's going to cap it off with a 48-yard heavy pressure, roll out left, break 2 tackles, juke a defender, break another one at the 10-yard line, rush it in down the left side. And it looks like the Pirates are going to sail away with this win. PAT attempts here. They've already missed 2 tonight. Can they come back and land it? The snap, the hold, and it's through the uprights. The Pirates will walk 34-30. All that's left is a kickoff return that I'm assuming they will not have a chance. Looking at the kick team that they've had out tonight, will not have a good chance.
Kane, we just saw 2 miracles on the St. Charles end. I'm not counting out 1 on the Knights end.
What an end to that drive. And I'm not saying an end of the game, but a 48-yard run by Jordan Rowe. He's nearing the 200-yard rushing mark. That's unprecedented numbers for a high school football game.
For a high school running back, that's bonkers. And then, okay, yeah, he's a quarterback.
We're seeing Lamar Jackson Jr. out here. I mean, but with the physicality of a running back.
Yeah, exactly.
We're seeing Alvin Kamara type physicality mixed with the elusiveness of Saquon Barkley. That's what we're seeing out of a quarterback. Sorry, I like my 2018 to 2020 NFL.
No, I was very happy with your answers just now.
All right, well, do you say a squib kick is in order here, or
if you're gonna do it 5 times, why not make it 6?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
the crowd is silent. I mean, that was just a shocking play. Nobody expected it. Jordan Rowe didn't expect it. St. Charles was not expecting a 48-yard game-winning rush.
Hey, maybe I'm too optimistic, but I don't think this game's over yet.
Okay. North still does have a timeout. So do the Pirates.
If I'm Coach Bevel here, I'm spreading out this Hams team as much as possible. And then pre-play, you do need to decide, are you going to start playing the lateral game as soon as the kickoff, or do you try to get a throw?
Do we take a trend to Lat City, or do we stick with what we got rolling?
I think I'm trying to get down as quick as possible.
Then run a Hail Mary play?
Yeah.
Make it a little less, I guess a little more predictable.
He's going to barely touch this football.
And there's a squib kick. And will it go out of bounds? Let it go out of bounds, and he would have had the ball up around the 45-yard line.
3.8 seconds to play.
He's going to touch it, go down, waste half a second. And it's just a weird decision for the Hands team. You think the coach would have instructed to let it ride.
But my question, though, how long would it have taken to get out of bounds? That's the only thing. You would have...
It doesn't start till somebody touches it.
Oh, you're very true.
So the ball could have rolled out of bounds, and it would have been just fine.
That's very true.
But
I didn't even think about that.
So down 4.
Champs on the field. warming up. I mean, he's not even throwing the ball. He's playing long toss on the sideline, or at least that's what he should be doing, right? This will probably be the longest throw of his football career if he can complete it.
I will say there's two options. You can't rule out short pass Lat City. You can't rule that out. We saw that as an attempt at the end of the second half by the Pirates. Didn't work out.
I was just going to
20
say,
yards out of it, but that's an option.
If I had to draw up a play here, you're obviously 5 wide. I think that's the assumption with everybody.
Do you run a little
here.
Travis Kelce, like volleyball, set it back to the guy behind you?
I was just going to say that.
Kind of run it around.
3 on one side, 2 on the other. They're going to run. You guys can't see me. It's all right. But here, you're going to run a hitch on one side. The other 3 are going deep down the field, and I agree completely with what Kane was just talking about. Volleyball play. And we take it to Lat City like he just talked about.
There we go. 3 receivers, bottom of your screen. Nobody up north. So here we go. Everything on the line for North. The snap. And it will be a Lat City drop. No, a flea flicker to the end zone. 1v3. That was their one chance, and it did come away as an interception. St. Charles should just go down here, but they just decided to run it back for an extra 25. But that will be the closing play. St. Charles High pulls off a 15-point comeback to win the game by 4.
Kane, the only word I have for this final is wow.
It has been a weird and wow game for sure. The kicking, the special teams was something that we haven't seen. 24 penalties for St. Charles High, 7 for Francis Howell North. It is just, it was a great football game, no matter the outcome, no matter which side you were cheering for tonight. It was a pleasure to be at this game, or if you're watching at home, a pleasure to be with you. But what are the keys looking into the rest of the season for the Knights?
For North there, you're heartbroken, right? That was something that you never expected. You had that really great moment with Carson Howard where he thought he had hit the game winner just now, and you kind of just got your heart broken. You're looking at next week. You're at St. Charles West. It's not insurmountable, right? Starting 0-2 is something that a lot of great football teams do.
Yeah.
But it's the way you respond. It's not the way you dwell on it.
Yeah, exactly. And, North will show up. They got the weekend to recover. I'm sure they'll take probably a day off here, and then they'll bounce back great, like they always do, back on Monday, before school, after school practices, whatever they got to do. They'll be back. They'll be ready to play. But you take a loss into consideration. Yes, you're an 0-2 team now. You look at the offensive potential that this team has. Not even the offensive potential, the offensive excellency that they showed throughout this game. And there's still potential to keep going.
Exactly.
There were plays that they could have built on, but for sure, it was just, it was great. It was a great offensive, I don't want to say masterclass because there's definitely things that they could have built on, but it was great. And the defense looked phenomenal. Then you take a look at the Pirates, 15-point down at half, comes back with 30-plus seconds, 35 seconds here. They get all the way back, and they end up winning this game by 4. You thought that they had lost it, but it's never over. 48-yard run, Jordan Rowe to win the game. Looking into next week, they go to Fort Zumwalt South, and Zumwalt South took the dub at Winfield last week, 31-15. So definitely they'll be a program to watch this year as well.
Certainly.
But I don't know. It was an amazing football game. Very glad to host you guys tonight. Once again, I am Kane Manfull, joined by Braeden Kettinger, signing off for tonight.